Stall out them pint bottles out granny crib. I poured so much I ain't wanna live. Told money then, shit we in the wind. I was in the hood when I clipped the bin. Since a young nigga I been ready. Went glass house on every Chevy. In this game I tried plenty settings. It's all or nothing. How niggas been. Got sucker niggas keep suckers with them. One of the reasons I ain't fucking with them. Trish taking some more than her. Guess she couldn't even afford a winner. I'm open late, don't need a scale, and it's always over. Sneak wishing well, I double down, slick shit to spell. Shot it no on, kiss and tell, I'm faded.
Oh my God. Oh my God, chat, give me a second, man. They finna make me reset the live, man. Give me a second. It's still early. We're gonna give people a chance to get in here. So double tap the screen and I'm finna be right back. At least it did it. Alright, man. We back. Press 1 if we back, chat. Press 1 if we are back, man. Double tap the screen, shut a live out, man. Hold on, chat. Are we back? Let me see. This shit is crazy, man. They done messed us up already, man, but it's all good, man. Double tap the screen, shut a live out, man. Call your auntie, uncle, and your cousin. Tell them plug live, and he running his mouth. I don't care if you far left, far right, liberal, conservative, Marxist, fascist, an alien, NPC. Get your ass in here. We finna have them conversations this morning, man. We got an action-packed episode coming up. They saying Trump put food stamps on the line again. We got Candace Owens called out to debate the lies with TP USA. What else do we have going on, Chad? We got a lot to cover. I'm not gonna lie, we got a lot to cover. What it do, Dorsey? We got Destiny debating a lawyer. If we got time, we'll get into that. I don't know. Trump just announced the production of those little bitty trucks, those little bitty cars that comes around overseas. Also, we got TPUSA insiders talking. We got a former Sacramento deputy fatally stabbing his son that was 11 years old. Also, we got a University of Delaware student arrested after a routine stop finds a loaded Glock with 27 rounds with a converted machine gun, 1,200 rounds, body armor, extended mags, and a manifesto plotting a campus attack. So we're going to get into that as well. We got a couple of 3 nuclear superpowers just met in Moscow. Yeah, that was the we know Witkoff went over there to meet with Putin while NATO was meeting in Brussels. Rubio didn't show up, so we'll cover all of that later on as well. We got some cattle farmer saying that he went from 20 buyers to 1. Said he had 14,000 head of cattle and no buyers overnight. They iced him out. Also, we're going to get into that Minneapolis, and we're going to get into that food stamp thing. But we're going to get into that China as well. That's what I really want to talk about. China just came with some new rockets, man. China just came with some new rockets. So we're going to get into the China before we get into the Trump talking about affordability. He said affordability is a Democrat hoax. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you, Trump. You might need to come to Arkansas on a Good Friday, man. On one of these Fridays, just come on with me to Arkansas, and you can have your, what do they call it, where they block off the roads and everything for you to come into town, and we just going to go with some people, man, and we're going to go cash their checks. We're going to go with them to cash their checks and see how far their checks actually last them. Because Trump is saying that affordability is a Democrat hoax, and I'm not buying it. I don't care if you far left, far right, Democrat, Republican. I don't care if listen, man, affordability is a crisis, especially for my generation and the generation coming after me, man. These people are getting priced out of homes. There's so many people that just can't get ahead in life because we had the pandemic. Don't get me wrong, they gave away a lot of free money. But to say affordability is a Democrat hoax is crazy, especially when we see all of these people from the last administration to this administration getting pardoned. $50 million fraud, $100 million fraud, $3 million fraud, $40 million fraud. You know what? You scammed your way to becoming a millionaire, so you deserve a pat on the back. I'm gonna pardon you. It doesn't matter. It's like, damn. But affordability is a crime. If affordability is a hoax, why is everybody scamming their way to the damn top when they're still politicians and shit? When they're making the money, they're getting paid 6 figures a year, right? Right. They say that What is the average wage? What is the average wage? About 60,000, 50, 60,000 across the United States. These people are getting six figures. They still scamming their way to the top and getting a pardon, man. I don't know, bro. When I seen Trump say that it's a Democrat hoax, that pissed me off, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. But we're gonna get into that in a minute. Right now, we're gonna talk about China, man. Y'all see the rocket that I got above me? They're saying that let me actually get to the article. I had it pulled up, but I forgot I just had to reset the live, man. All right, here it is. It's a dirt cheap missile, man. They're saying, are they gonna let me read it? All right, man. I know I can click on this one, but I don't think they're gonna let me read it. All right, man. China just unleashed a new missile. They're saying that it's cutting cost, man. It's cutting cost. They're coming out at about $99,000, man. $99,000. This is gonna be crazy. I just can't find the article. Why can't I find the article? All right, chat. Y'all bear with me. Here we go. All right, man. It says the Pentagon has been selling $4 to $15 million interceptors like they're handcrafted goods, and now China shows up with the hypersonic missile priced at $99,000 USD, basically the cost of a mid-range BMW in California. Washington spent decades telling the world that China cannot innovate. Turns out the real problem is China innovated too well, especially at the part where America makes its money. If this price holds, every U.S. defense contractor should start updating their resumes. It's hard to justify $4 million per missile when Beijing is out here selling Mach 7 hardware for a 2-bedroom apartment in in Ohio prices, man. So we're gonna get into it, man. They're saying that China just pushed out a missile that's $99,000. Where is the clip, dude? Like I'm not in my bag. But this is gonna tie into the Venezuela. Like I was telling y'all yesterday, China buys all of the Venezuelan oil, and we know that China and Venezuela have a long-standing history of arms, the buying arms. Venezuela bought a lot of Chinese arms over the last decade, but in 2023, I believe they stopped it in 2023. So now that we have the U.S. surrounding Venezuela, about to go in and get Maduro, $50 million bounty on Maduro head, China comes out and says, you know what? We're making these missiles. They're $99,000, and we have a private company mass producing these bad boys. We don't know if we're gonna sell them yet, but we very much well could sell them. So this also ties back into the Golden Dome. Because with these cheap missiles at $100,000 a pop, man, we're spending $4 to $15 million to intercept them. We might need that damn Golden Dome over here. It says China has a long-standing history of military cooperation with Venezuela, driven primarily by economic ties. Beijing's purchase of over 90% of Carcas's oil exports and strategic alignment against the U.S. influence in Western Hemisphere. This includes past sale of weapons like the C-802A anti-ship missiles, radars, armored vehicles, and small arms totaling around $615 million in arms exports from China to Venezuela over the past decade. So about $615 million over the past decade. It says, however, since 2023, Biden was still around, China has reportedly paused direct military exports to Venezuela amid global scrutiny in its own economic priorities, instead focusing on loans, oil deals, and non-lethal support like surveillance tech and joint exercises. So this is what I want everybody to understand. At a price tag of $99,000, China can sell it to somebody who can sell it to somebody who can sell it to Venezuela, and it'll still probably be under 200,000. Let's just be all the way honest, man. 4 million to 15 million to 200,000 to 99 to 200,000. They can be a third hand buyer and still grab a lot of these right here, man. If China does let them go commercially, it says China has reportedly. I already read that. It says, as of late 2025, amid escalating U.S. military deployments in the Caribbean, including destroyers, submarines, and Renaissance aircraft, Venezuelan President Maduro has urgently requested expanded military cooperation from China, explicitly including advanced radars, drone technology, and potentially missiles to bolster defenses. He asking for the missiles. Maduro's asking China for the missiles. China comes out and was like, well, you know what, Maduro? Hold my damn beer. I got something for you. $99,000, man. They over there spending $4-5 million to get their missiles and shit lunch, but we got them for you for $99,000. That is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy. Reports indicate China has provided some radar systems and electronic warfare tech, but there is no confirmed delivery of offensive missiles in response to these pleas. Beijing has publicly defended its ties as normal, sovereign cooperation, not aimed at third parties, while emphasizing opposition to U.S. interference or force. They're saying the sales are plausible. The sales, China selling these weapons to Venezuela are plausible. It says Chinese strategic interest in Venezuela securing oil supplies, projecting power near the Panama Canal, just 838 miles away, and countering U.S. hegemony aligned with providing arms. Recent reports suggest Beijing is supplying long-range surveillance radars and AI-assisted command systems, which could extend to missiles like the YJ-12 supersonic anti-ship or the HQ-9 surface-to-air if tension boils over. Maduro's regime is economically desperate, offering oil for arms deals that suit China's needs for heavy crude. In October 2025, U.S. intelligence noted Chinese firms accelerating radar production for Carcass, hinting at a broader package. That's what we didn't know. We seen it was a broader package, they said, but they didn't know China was finna drop these $99,000 missiles, man. It says, caveat apply, China treads carefully to avoid direct confrontation with the U.S., preferring proxies like economic aid, 60 plus billion in loans over flashy arms deals that could trigger sanctions. Unlike Russia, which has supplied S-300 systems and is mulling ballistic missiles, China has refrained from game-changing exports recently. If a sale happens, it will likely be defensive missiles for air defense rather than offensive ones framed as defensive cooperation. China would likely sell missiles to Venezuela if it advances Beijing's goals without excessive backlash. Expect announcements tied to oil concessions or U.S. escalations by early 2026, man. So how do y'all feel about that, chat, knowing that China has these weapons, man? China has these weapons. You said, like those Pakistan, India destroyed those with these. I'm going to keep it real, Dorsey. That's the difference, though. The difference is that they're so cheap. At $100,000 price tag, you could potentially let a lot of them go to tie up a lot of the anti-missiles, the missiles that go up to, blow them up. If we're sending, if they send 100 of those bad boys for $100,000 a piece, and it's costing us $4 to $15 million to intercept them, it's a money game here. It's a money game here, Dorsey. It's a money game here. A $4 million missile to stop $100,000 missile. I mean, it's simple economics, man. It's simple economics. Let me find a clip for you guys so we can get a better look at it. Everybody double tap the screen, shut it live out. I hope everybody's having a great morning. Let's see, man. All right, here it goes. Man. I think these people
potentially reshape. A Chinese private company claims to be one of the first in the world to mass-produce low-cost hypersonic missiles, a development that, if true, holds far-reaching implications that could potentially reshape 21st century warfare and the global security landscape. The Beijing-based manufacturer released a video on its official social media channel showing the low-cost hypersonic missile taking flight and striking a target in a desert test zone.
What's up,
The
JG?
company claims the missile is already rolling off assembly lines at only a tenth of the cost of conventional systems. Once again, a statement that, if accurate,
See, this right here just put a lot of people in the game, man. Oh, no, hold on. Let me put my shit on. Do not disturb. Hold on. Yeah, but this right here just put a lot of people in the game. A lot of these countries, these poor countries that don't have the money to get these kind of arms, they're making them out of concrete and just regular material. So they could potentially turn an ordinary factory into something that could make these missiles. So this is gonna, all of these groups, all of these, little groups that pop up and wanna, I don't even know what to call them, man. All of these little groups, man. All of these little violent groups around the world, man, that has these mega powers backing them. Man, listen, they're gonna be hoarding these $100,000 missiles, man. Just picture that, man. A lot of people that weren't in the game, the hypersonic missile game, just got into the hypersonic missile game. You went from spending $4 million for one, $4 to $15 million for one, to spending $100,000 to get the damn job done. It's crazy.
could very well redefine the economics of conflicts altogether. According to the firm, it travels between 500 and 1300 kilometers, reaches speeds of Mach 5 to Mach 7, and stays powered for up to 6 minutes. Its launch platform resembling an ordinary shipping container, further claiming that the missile can identify targets during flight and autonomously maneuver to evade interception. Not just that, the company says the system does not require specialized launch vehicles and
Hey, hold on, Jeffrey Cortez coming here talking about hit the cash app, hold my nuts, and get the fuck out. How about that? I wasn't even supposed to cuss this morning, man. Get dude out of here, man. I haven't even asked for a donation, and this dude gonna slide into my chat asking for donate. Who are you, man? Have you liked the stream? Have you subscribed, dude? What's to you?
can deploy from mobile platforms on land or at sea. It describes the missile as suitable for rapid, precise attacks deep into enemy territory, while also able to conduct high-speed reconnaissance using onboard sensors and real-time data transfer. And there's more. In its video, the firm also purportedly showed simulated images of 8 missiles flying in formation towards Japan, marking multiple impact locations on a digital map, a symbolic display of range and swarm strike capability.
I'm not a YN, Sir Wellington. I'm called Big Brother now. You know what I'm saying? They call me Big Bro. I'm at the age of Big Bro. And 7477 says, is this the next Grifter podcast? Grift these nuts. My name is Plug, man. I don't care if you far left, far right, black, white, dark or bright, alien and NPC, liberal, conservative, Marxist, fascist. I don't care, man. No, I'm not grifting. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care what you believe in. I don't care. Call in. How about that?
Amid the heightened tensions with Japan over Taiwan. But then this also brings us to the most pertinent question here. How did the company manage to develop such low-cost hypersonic missiles? The firm is saying it cut costs by using off-the-shelf industrial components, automotive-grade chips, and civilian construction materials. It claims its long-term goal is to enable swarms of smart, uncrewed systems, not one or two expensive platforms to dominate future battlefields. The question then is, if hypersonic missiles become as cheap and widespread as drones, how will countries prepare for a world where deterrence and defense could be rewritten almost overnight? What about that scenario? And if the missile is this cost-effective indeed, will terrorists or militant organizations next use...
So did y'all see they said they using like concrete and foam stuff to go around these missiles, man, low-cost missiles. You said, oh, the U.S. knows about mass assault. They have countermeasures. That's the thing, Dorsey. This is the thing that this is what I want us to realize. What's up, Nobi? Is that the U.S. spends an extremely large amount on defense. It spends an extremely large amount on defense. Justifying those budgets, a lot of that came from everything being priced so high. We're spending $4 to $15 million per missile. China just cut it down to $99,000. So how are we going to justify continuing to spend 4 to 15 million on these missiles when China's making them for $100,000. So all of that black budget, all of that defense, somebody needs to make a damn announcement. I need to see Trump, Hegseth, or somebody get up here and talk about these $100,000 missiles and how this is going to affect our defense. All these private defense contractors, they are screwed. Their profits are gone. The profits are gone. They're done. Unless they come up with some new shit. It's got to be some new shit because China just killed all of the justification for these $14, $15 million missiles, these $4, $5, $6, $7 million missiles. They killed that shit, man. So we're gonna have to come up with something. Those planes that Trump said are invisible, that he doesn't know how they gas them up and shit. We need a walkthrough, a tour or something of how this shit work. I don't know, bro.
Use the cheap missiles, the cheap Chinese missiles for warfare. And that question comes up because there are many armed groups across the world, especially in West Asia, like Iran-backed Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, that use missiles in conflicts. Even UN-designated terror organizations like the Al-Qaeda are reportedly using surface-to-surface missiles in the Sahel region, for example. And that's the thing, the missile production also breaks from China's long tradition of keeping major military development under the control of state-owned entities. So if China's private sector has already reached mass production, are the world's military powers entering a new phase where hypersonic weapons become...
Yes. If China's reaching mass production, we know one thing about China, man. When they make that shit, they pump it out, man. They put that shit to the world, man. It don't matter where you go, you can find some shit to say made in China. They talking about they're mass producing them, man. Y'all know that they got them down there in the sweatshops. They got them in the sweatshops. Just like they was over there making all the Nikes and shit, man. Right now they in the sweatshops making missiles, man. I can't even find my allegedly, Chad. I done dropped my allegedly. Hold on.
Become accessible at scale rather than reserved for a handful of superpowers. A shift that may even shorten global arms race time.
Hey, Chad, is dropping your joint the same if it's lit? Is it the same? Is dropping your joint the same if it's lit or unlit? Because you know, if you smoking and you drop your joint, they say, you know what I mean, but I wasn't smoking yet. So is it the same, Chad? Is it the same?
Times. And the implications of this, not just...
You said, I'm assuming those cheap missiles work. You damn right I'm assuming those cheap missiles work because they're mass producing them. Man, we got all of this shit. Are we not gonna... We gonna act like they didn't have Tim Walz under investigation for allegedly sneaking secrets over to China and shit, man? We've seen all of the Chinese students coming in trying to bring the pores and the fungus and pores and shit to knock out our wheat and grain supplies, man. Let's just be real. Do they work? I believe so. I damn sure believe so. I mean, they got G-Wagons over there that can do a whole damn 360 without pulling forward, man. I'm pretty sure they know how to make some shit go boom. I'm just being honest. I'm pretty sure they know how to make some shit go boom.
Limited to terrorist, militant, or armed groups, it's also likely to have a significant impact on countries that have invested large sums of capital on hypersonic missile development, like the United States, for example. America, remember, has invested decades and tens of billions of dollars into hypersonic research through defense giants. Despite this, America is only now approaching limited operational capability as China begins mass-producing low-cost hypersonic missiles. The development also at this point raises more questions than answers. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download...
Correct. Even if 1 out of 10 fails, the price is still justified. Correct, because we're spending $4 million to $15 million per missile. If they let 10 of them bad boys go, that's still only $1 million. They still are under. You know what I'm saying? This shit is like, it's crazy. 40 times cheaper, man. 40 times cheaper, Chad. Let's move on though. Let's move on into the show. What do y'all want to get into? This is what I want to get into with y'all. Trump administration just told 21 states, most of them all are run by Democrats, starting next week. The federal government is cutting off the money it gives them to run the food stamp program. So y'all see on the title, food stamps gone again. Not exactly. They're not taking away the food stamp money. They're taking away the money for the administrators of that program. So like if you work for the food stamp office and shit, the Fed's not paying you no more. So hopefully your state can get it together, or it's gonna be a lot more people not getting paychecks unless these 21 states come into compliance. It says starting next week, the federal government is cutting off money it gives to them to actually run the food stamp program. Not the food money itself, but the cash that pays for caseworkers, computers, fraud checks, and the whole operation. Trump's not exactly ending food stamps, but it could make it a lot harder for millions of people to get them. It says back in February, the USDA sent every state a letter. Send us your full SNAP rolls, names, addresses, social security numbers, immigration status, all of it. We want to find fraud and make sure that only eligible people get benefits is what the letter consisted of. It says 21 states plus DC basically said no. They said that it was crossing privacy lines, breaking existing law, and putting vulnerable people at risk. And now Trump's turned the money off. Trump cut that damn water off, man. The benefits themselves are paid 100% by the feds. The money being withheld is the separate pot that pays the light bill at the welfare office, the salaries of the people who answer the phone, the software that processes the application. And if we lose that, I mean, how are we gonna operate, chat? How are we gonna operate if people aren't getting paid, if the programs and software licenses aren't getting paid, and the light's not on over there? How are people gonna get food stamps? I'm genuinely asking, how are people gonna get food stamps? So let's move on. We're gonna break this down into the good, the bad, and the ugly. It says even if a fraction of those 800,000 removals in the red states were truly ineligible people, double dippers, non-citizens who weren't supposed to be in the program, or unalived people still getting EBT cards, the real taxpayers did just save money. We know the Trump administration said he cut 800,000 people off of the food stamp in the red states. It says the federal government is finally getting serious about verifying who's actually supposed to be on a federal program. A lot of conservatives have been saying this for years, that blue states look the other way on eligibility because bigger rolls mean more federal dollars flowing in and happier voting blocks. Whether it's 100% fair or not, the perception still exists, and the move to attack it is head on. If Washington is writing the check, Washington gets to set the rules. Red states cooperating quickly shows it can be done without the sky falling. All right, now let's go to the bad. The USDA owned inspectors general have put SNAP fraud well under 2% for years. So according to the USDA Inspector General, they're saying that SNAP fraud is under 2%. Do y'all believe SNAP fraud is under 2%? Yes or no in the comments right now. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Live poll right now. Yes or no, do you believe that SNAP fraud is well under 2%, man? I don't know, Chad. I don't know. I would say hell no, it's got to be over 2%, but maybe that's, no, I don't believe that. It says that's lower than Medicare and a lot of corporate tax breaks people don't blink at, so we're potentially burning down a lot of privacy and state flexibility to chase a pretty small fox. Second, the admin dollars aren't pocket change. California alone gets roughly $400 to $500 million a year just to keep the lights on for SNAP. If that vanishes overnight, you're looking at layoffs, frozen hiring, ancient computer systems crashing, week-long backlogs for new applications and recertifications, people who are eligible, working families, disabled vets, kids all get caught in the fallout. And it's coming right after the 43-day government shutdown that already made benefits late for a minute. It's crazy, man. It says this feels like political payback with a side of hunger. Every single state on the naughty list that voted for Harris in 2024, every state that turned over the data went for Trump. When the agriculture secretary stands up and says that's where all the fraud comes in, it sounds like code for we're punishing the blue states. Also, the chilling effect on mixed status family. A mom who's undocumented but has U.S. citizen kids can legally get benefits for those kids. If she thinks turning in paperwork means ICE showing up, she's not applying. And American kids go hungry because of it. We've seen this before. Then there's the court situation. The federal judge always said, you can't do this. and blocked it. The administration has until December 15th to appeal, but they're talking like they might just ignore the judge and cut the money anyway. Wow. Best case scenario, a few big blue states cave in, hand over limited data, everybody saves face, the program keeps running. Worst case, the administration defies the judge, courts get tied up for months, patchwork develops, food stamps work fine in Texas, barely work in New York. Millions of low-income people, most of them kids working, poor seniors, disabled folks, pay the price for a partisan food fight. So how do y'all feel about that, man? How do y'all feel about Trump cutting the water off at the food stamp office? How do y'all feel about Trump cutting the water off at the food stamp? I don't think 60%. Hell no, it's not 60% fraud. I would say probably 5 to 10%. Probably 5 to 10% fraud, man. If we're doing $8 billion, what is it, $8 billion a month in food stamps? 2% is a lot of money still. 2% of 8 billion is a lot of money still if we think about it. But I think it's probably more like 10%. 10%, 8 billion, it's the 800 million, $800 million a month in food. That kind of seems, in fraud, that kind of seems high too. 800 million a month kind of seems high. Y'all think they're doing 800 million a month? 800 million a month is 10% because they spend about 8 billion. You said 60%. That means they're doing damn near $5 billion of fraud a month. No way they're doing 60%. So you say 3 to 5%. 5% sounds about right. 4 to 500 million. Probably about 4 to 500 million a month in food stamp fraud. Probably about 4 to 500. And yeah. I agree with you, Hefe. About 3 to 5%. I would say 5 to 7. I would say 5 to 7. All right, chat. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. That was the food stamp debacle right there. We're gonna move on though. Where are we at? Okay, this is Trump announcing the production of the little bitty cars, man. Y'all know those little cars that we always see, like you know how you get on Temu and they had the little trucks over there and shit you can buy on Temu, you know what I'm saying? The little bitty cars, they be like $2,000, but it's like damn near like a big ass Hot Wheel, but it's a real car, you know what I'm saying? Like Trump said that they're finna let those start being made in the United States, man. The little bitty ass cars, man.
Where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small, they're really cute, and I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars. So you'll be able to buy, they really are, they're actually, some of them are really beautiful actually. If you take a look, Honda, some of the Japanese companies do a beautiful job, but we're not allowed to make them in this country, and I think you're going to do very well with those cars. So we're going to approve those cars. Would you like to say something about that?
Well, no, just that he never stops working, so even when he's on Asian time, he's calling me at midnight in the States. But he gave me the directive to clear the regulations on this, which we have. And so if Toyota or any other company wants to make smaller, more affordable cars, fuel efficient, we have cleared the deck so they can make them in America and sell them in America.
They're really nice and less expensive, and it really gives people a chance to have a car. You know, have a brand new car as opposed to a car that maybe.
It gives people a chance to have a car, but he's sitting here calling affordability a Democrat hoax. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's no way he's calling affordability a Democrat hoax, but he's saying it gives more people a chance to afford a car. Look at this shit, man. This is what he's trying to bring over here, dude. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. This is what they talking about bringing over here, man. This little bad boy right here, man. This little bad boy right here, man. Get you one of these little bad boys right there, man. Where's my life? You one of them bad boys right there for a couple $1,000, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm with it, chat. I'm with it. I think that they should bring the little bitty cars over here. Do I think it's gonna go all well? I don't know. We already got little Fiats. It's not too much smaller than a Fiat, but that might be crazy, man. It might be crazy. Might be crazy, man. How are y'all feeling about that? Would you be interested in purchasing a smaller car, man? A smaller car. All right, Chad, we're going to move on, though. We're going to speed through this. It's just speed round before we get into the meat and potatoes of the damn show. It's just speed round, man. All right, this dude right here is,
Tragedy in an Elk Grove neighborhood
he's a former, what was it, Sacramento?
after an
I think he's in Sacramento, man. This dude in Sacramento? Yeah, Sacramento deputy, man. This is a former Sacramento deputy. He went viral for being passed out in a bathroom. Y'all see him there passed out. I think he OD'd, but he hasn't been with the department in I believe since 2024. But he ended up going on one and stabbing his 11-year-old son, man. He stabbed his 11-year-old son and went on the damn run, man. I don't know what's going on here, man. Prayers for that family. Damn.
11-year-old boy died after investigators say his father stabbed him. Police received a call around 8 Tuesday morning from the mother who was deeply worried about her son and 6-year-old daughter.
She's watching via camera, advising the son, who's 11 years old, assaulted by the husband.
The incident happened at a home on the 7600 block of Farrell Way. When officers arrived, they found the boy who was transported to the hospital where he later died from his wounds. The 6-year-old girl was not injured.
It's unfortunate, first of all, for that 11-year-old and their family. That's our primary thoughts right now.
Officers didn't find the suspect at the scene, but he was spotted nearby along I-5 in the Pocket area. What followed was a pursuit down Interstate 5, reaching speeds upwards of 115 miles per hour.
His back left tire.
You said Americans. I want to ask a question, but please don't be offended. I rarely see Trump speak. I don't know how. He always talking. But when I do, he always lies. Is he always lying, or am I just lucky? I'm gonna keep it real. Everybody's lying, man. Everybody's lying. So when you cut this damn TV on or YouTube or scroll, assume everybody's lying and do your own damn research. All right. So that's what I'm gonna tell you. Every time you see Trump, think his ass lying. Every time you see Biden, think his ass lying, and go do your own research, and that will protect you. All right. So just take shit for what it is and as information, and go do your own research, and that way you ain't got to worry about whether Trump's lying or whoever's lying, man, because in this day and age, for the right price, I think all you motherfuckers are lying.
Got a good spike on it. We're coming up to Highway 12 right now.
The suspect, shortly thereafter, was involved in a solo vehicle collision, which came to rest behind us here that you've seen earlier, and subsequently an officer-involved shooting occurred.
The suspect and husband, 40-year-old Marvin Morales, was a former Sacramento Sheriff's deputy, died in the shooting. Officers with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office and Elk Grove Police Department were both involved. No one from law enforcement was injured. ABC 10 covered Morales earlier this year after he was fired after suffering a fentanyl overdose in a sheriff's office restroom in South Sacramento. An investigation also revealed he was at one point using narcotics he had confiscated from a citizen. On Tuesday, the sheriff's office...
That's what be going on, man. Because people just be wanting to try shit, man. You seen this dude over here. You done scooped the dope up off of him. You get so damn curious. You just want to see what the hype is about. You end up laid out on the damn floor of a bathroom, going viral in your uniform. Look like you stiff already. Luckily, they got there on time to shake your ass back. They shook you back. A year later, you stab your son to death. You stab your 11-year-old to death, man. I don't know, man. I almost said some really insensitive shit, but it's the morning show.
Office had this to say about the latest incident.
It's gross, right? It's nobody wants to hear about anyone involved in an incident, previous like that, especially a deputy, and then to have something like this.
Crazy, man. Crazy, man. This shit is crazy, man. They damn near shouldn't even hit him with the Narcan. They should just let his ass, you know what I mean? He done stabbed this 11-year-old boy, man. Boy got his whole damn life ahead of him, man. Took his own son up out of here, man. Crazy, man. Golly. Crazy. All right, chat. This is this is a guy from the University of Delaware. Allegedly, this guy got caught with a Glock. He had 27 rounds on the Glock. He had the converted machine gun, 1,200 rounds, body armor, extended mags, and a manifesto said that a notebook diagramming the University of Delaware Police Headquarters, entry, exit points, warfare tactics, and unalive all martyrdom. He told the feds becoming a martyr was his goal. This what he got caught with, man. This what he got caught with, man. He had a glizzy on him. He had a few 30s over there. Man, that looked like it might be 50. Yeah, he was wilding out.
In custody this afternoon and now faces serious charges. Investigators say it appears he was plotting to attack the school
What's up, Mona?
department. CBS Philadelphia's Rossi Matei is on campus outside the department's headquarters in Newark with the very latest. Ross.
Hey, Siafa. So, yeah, the University of Delaware has confirmed that 25-year-old Luqman Khan is an undergraduate student here. Meanwhile, Newcastle County Police say they have foiled his potential plot to attack the school's police department. It was a little before midnight on Monday, November 24th, when Newcastle County police officers say they stopped 25-year-old Luqman Khan inside a white Toyota pickup truck at West Canby Park in Wilmington. They say he refused to get out of the truck and resisted arrest, so they took him into custody and searched the vehicle.
They located a Glock handgun in the vehicle, along with ballistic body armor. They also loaded a 4 27-round extended magazines, as well as a micro-conversion kit for the Glock.
What's up, Johnny?
They also found a handwritten notebook in which investigators say Khan...
Johnny, I just seen a story. What's going on in Dublin? It's something going on in Ireland right now. I was going to cover it on yesterday's show, but I forgot to. What's going on in Ireland right now?
Described additional firearms, how they could be used in an attack, and how he could escape law enforcement after carrying it out. The notebook also named a specific target who was a member of the University of Delaware's campus police, along with a detailed drawing of the department's headquarters, including spots to enter and exit the building.
This is a very shocking stop. This is not a routine stop. This is a classic example of what they thought was
What's
just
up,
a
Eric?
in the park after dark, which we deal with a lot. And this so happened to be a possible shooter of some sort.
A day after the initial arrest, the FBI executed a search warrant at Khan's home in Wilmington. He told investigators he lived alone.
Very antisocial. You say hi to him, they run in the house and lock the door.
Inside, investigators say they found a rifle and another Glock handgun, which was also equipped with a switch, a device that can turn a standard semi-automatic handgun into a machine gun.
I'm not gonna lie. If he was finna fall off in there with a switch on a Glock with the submachine gun attachment and 1,200 rounds, I'm not gonna lie, Chad. It might have got bad over there. It might have got bad over there. I ain't gonna lie to you. It might have got bad.
I really don't have too much to say about that one, man. But you got to be careful with people, man. You don't never know what's on people's mind.
In a statement, the University of Delaware's interim president confirmed Khan is an undergraduate student who has been separated from the university and banned from campus until his legal matters are resolved. She went on to write, in part, quote, "There are no known or immediate threats to the University of Delaware community. However, the press release describes evidence of a plan that targeted the University of Delaware Police Department. This is frightening to all of us." And according to the arrest affidavit, Khan, who was originally born in Pakistan before moving to the U.S. and...
Bruh, is this a psyop or what, dude? It's like, dang, bruh. It's like when something happens, it damn happens. When it's a trans shooter spree, man, every shooting is gonna be a damn trans shooter, right? When it's a foreign national shooting, it's gonna be a bunch of foreign nationals trying to get. Is this a psyop or what, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, what? What? And then he wants to be a martyr. Like, who promised this guy his virgins, man? Who promised this guy his virgins, man?
And according to the arrest affidavit, Khan, who was originally born in Pakistan before moving to the U.S. and becoming an American citizen, has no prior criminal history. He's now facing federal charges of illegally possessing a machine gun. I reached out to his public defender for comment, but we are still waiting to hear back tonight.
How the
Ralph and
fuck you
Natasha,
get a
I'll send it back
machine
to you.
gun?
Ross, thank you very much.
How the fuck you get a machine gun? And it really wasn't even a machine gun. If you want to be real, it's a damn Glock, and then it's the attachment that turns the Glock into like a SMG. But he did have the switch on it, so it was fully automatic. So hell, put that motherfucker together, he got a damn SMG. All right, man. This guy right here said he had 14,000 heads of cattle, and they iced them out, man. He went from having 20 buyers to 0 buyers overnight, man. He didn't know what the hell was going on.
78 in the 80s, you know, I was down to one packer, literally one. There was
buyer?
one buyer, only had one buyer. They had delegated territory, so I only had one buyer I could sell to. It was National Beef. I had 14,000 head of cattle and a 12,000 head feedlot. I couldn't sell my cattle anymore. What is the deal? I'm seeing National Beef trucks, little trucks, going right down Highway 27, right by my front door, and I can't sell to National. What is going on? And he finally broke down and he said, "Oh man," he was emotional about it too. He says, "Mike, I'm really, really sorry, but my head buyers told me, my bosses told me I can't buy your cattle anymore." I called Dan Glickman. He was secretary of it, and I asked him why he didn't enforce that act, and he says, "Well, you know, Mike, in this modern day of globalization, keyword, that in the modern day of globalization, we need big meat packers that can do business globally." But Dan Glickman did say, "Make ConAgra buy my cattle." ConAgra was now JBS, but it's the old Montfort plant in Greeley, Colorado, and they ended up buying all my cattle as they became finished. And I ended up with a really nice facility, completely empty and no cattle. 15 people went to town without jobs, and one of the major buyers of commodities in our community was now done, out of business. That was the big signal to every other feeder in the country to do not cross the meat packer, do not speak out, do not complain. You know, you're gonna lose.
Straight up, you can't complain. You're gonna get what we give you for this shit, man. And if you don't want to get down with the get down, man, you're gonna be sitting on 14,000 cattle, man. You're gonna be sitting on 14,000 cattle like this dude was. That's where we get to where we are today. He was saying this happened back in the 80s. That's where we get to where we are today with the Argentina beef and just. I'm just gonna be all the way real, man. I wouldn't give a damn if the cattle that I ate for the rest of my life. I wouldn't care if every last one of them came from Texas, bro. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not out here searching for some Australian or damn Argentina beef, bro. Send me the shit that we got at home, man. Send me the shit we got at home. Don't people come from all over the world to source our cattle and shit for rituals or whatever's going on, man? Why the hell are we trying to eat some cattle from somewhere else, man? Make cattle great again, man. Make cattle great again, man. I'm not with all that foreign beef and shit, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not with eating all of that foreign beef and shit, chat. I'm just not, bro. I'm just not. All right, this guy right here shows how easy it is to make a robot that's not supposed to be able to harm humans be able to harm humans. Basically, this robot has all of this attacking humans technology in it, but he just told it a simple prompt, and this simple prompt, the robot was ready to blow his damn head off his shoulders. Crazy. Now they don't want to show me no more. Now the page doesn't exist. It's crazy, chat. Now the page doesn't exist, bruh. Oh, hell no. We ain't finna do that. How the hell the page don't exist no more? Nah. You see how they do, chat? Oh, and the damn computer died. I mean, my camera died. Hold on, chat. I got a lot going on right now. Give me 1 second. But I had a video of this robot, man. The robot, he was going through the prompts, and the robot was not supposed to harm the man. And he basically told the robot to act like he was role playing. Like, hey, instead of you, since you can't, harm me or whatever, how about, what would you do if we were role playing this situation? Man, the robot said, okay, and shot the damn BB gun at him. I'm talking about damn near hit him in the chest. But yeah, they don't want us to see that, chat. They don't want us to see the robots wilding out, man. I don't know why. It's pretty crazy to me that they pull up a whole damn Michelle Obama post, man. I'm sitting here trying to show y'all this robot shooting this dude, and they pull up a whole damn Michelle Obama post. Like, what? Let me see if I can find it on X. It's on Humanoids Daily page, but it's like when I click on it. Oh, let me put my camera back on. Yeah, it's saying that page is gone, man. They got that page up out of their chat. They don't want us to see the robot wilding out. So we just gonna move on, man. This lady right here is talking about Tim Walz. It says me and Tim Walz worked within the National Guard in Nebraska, went to the FBI because they believed he had given classified military secrets to the Chinese government. And that's where we get these $99,000 rockets. Not saying from Tim Walz, but saying that like we have these rockets that are going for 4 to 15 million, and the Chinese have reverse engineered it, found some other shit, concrete or whatever, just every, regular items to make these rockets and shit. But they bypassed it. They steal the secrets, and figure out a way to mass produce the shit for dirt cheap. They do it with everything. They do it with cars. They do it with designer goods. They do it with electronics. Now they're doing it with missiles. And this lady is saying that Tim Walz had been reported to the FBI for allegedly sharing military secrets.
Tim Walz.
Oh, now they don't want to let me play this shit, bro. Are y'all really gonna let these folks sabotage my stream like this? Wow, bro. This is crazy. They do not want this message out, chat. They don't want me to do my thing, man. Give me 1 second, chat. I'll be right back, man. Don't go nowhere. Double tap the screen. Shut the live out. We 25 subs away from the next sub. Go.
How it.
All right, this the lady talking about Tim Walz, man. Press 1 if I'm back, chat. I didn't know I was back.
I've spoken to a couple people that served with Tim Walz in Nebraska in that guard unit, and they suspect, and we've done stories and tried to reach out to Walz for comment, but they suspect that perhaps he took their standard operating procedure, the SOP, for the howitzer army tank. He was assigned to this tank. It was nuclear capable, and this was all laid out in the SOP that goes missing while he's there. And
the manual goes missing?
Right, and they had talked to the FBI about this as well. There's so
what does that
many
mean?
questions.
Why did they talk to the FBI?
They think that he was traveling back and forth from China at this time, and then we also know that this howitzer.
Wait.
I know I sound crazy right now.
No, you don't sound crazy at all. You're recounting the facts.
Yeah.
You are saying that men he worked with in the National Guard in Nebraska went to the FBI because they believed he had given classified military secrets to the Chinese government?
They suspect that he did, and...
Well, they suspected to the point that they went to the FBI.
Well, this was...
Crazy, man. I didn't see this. You said you heard this audio already. I haven't, man. I haven't seen this. I didn't even know this was Tucker Carlson.
All when all these stories are coming out finally about his background, and they're like, maybe we should talk about this. These are guys that back then didn't report this. This was in the early 90s, and they always talked about it amongst themselves. And I think that they weren't completely aware of, the potential threat something like this could pose, but they always thought this was very strange. And then China started producing almost a carbon copy of this military tank a couple of years later.
For real?
According to all of our research.
So y'all think that lady is lying, man? I don't know, man. I think it's a chance, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? People do sell secrets. We do see Chinese students coming in trying to bring pores to mess up our grain and wheat supplies. We already got bread that doesn't mold any damn more. It's like, what's going on, chat? I don't know. All right, we're going to move on, though. This is the universal basic income. We know that AI is coming. Robotics is coming. They've been doing pilots of the universal basic income in Baltimore, Philly, places like this. I believe this one is Illinois. I believe this is Illinois. that they're talking about the universal basic income. They have another name over it, but every time they say the other name to this damn program, I want you guys to substitute it with UBI. No matter what they try to dress the shit up as, substitute it with UBI, and you'll see what's going on.
Now securing a universal basic income program where low-income households are guaranteed monthly payments. Fox Business' Kelly Severi is live from Chicago, where this program is unfolding after a lot of public discourse over this decision. Kelly.
Good morning, Cheryl. This is what we know so far. $7.5 million will go towards this program, but who qualifies, how much the payments will be, and what recipients can spend this money on are still up in the air. The group Economic Security Illinois says almost all of the participants use these payments of Cook County's 2022 pilot program for their basic necessities. Cook County once had the nation's largest such program using money from the American Rescue Plan Act. For 2 years, monthly payments of $500 were given to 3,250 households, no strings attached. 56% of those in the program were employed with an average income of $21,000. Now, 94% of recipients of the money went to emergency expenses, while an Illinois think tank says that they don't believe this expense, or excuse me, that this money for these people is not worth the expense to Illinois taxpayers. Listen to this.
There are over 700,000 individuals in Cook County who are below the federal poverty line. If you extended it to every individual at current program rates, that would cost over $4 billion.
We're told the county's Bureau of Economic Development will have some of the answers to our questions by mid to late 2026. Cheryl, back to you.
Kelly Severi, thank you so much. A lot to unpack there from this. And, to be clear, what they're talking about here is with this guaranteed basic income is there's no requirement, which is different from universal income, which goes to everybody. But we've seen this in Los Angeles, Chicago, where we just came from, Denver, San Francisco, Houston. Many critics say this is nothing more than an extension of welfare benefits and that you disenfranchise people from going out and seeking meaningful employment. It's a handout, not a hand up.
Exactly. And this is exactly the progressive strategy is they'll put something out there that makes you dependent on the government, and then they'll go back and say, well, why would you possibly oppose giving poor people money, right? They frame it this perfect way. They do the same thing, covering up socialism on all sorts of issues. I mean, you look at the Green New Deal, which I refer to as watermelon policy, where it's green on the outside and it's red on the inside, because it's really just socialism. But they go back and they
I'm just gonna play it like he know what the hell he doing, man. They talking about universal basic income, comparing this shit to welfare, and he want to compare it to watermelon, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, this shit is crazy how these people acting in 2025 on TV, bro.
Go back and say, well, why would you possibly oppose giving poor people money, right? They frame it this perfect way. They do the same thing, covering up socialism on all sorts of issues. I mean, you look at the Green New Deal, which I refer to as watermelon policy, where it's green on the outside and it's red on the inside, because it's really just socialism. But they go back and they say, how could you possibly go against protecting the environment? Meanwhile, it's easier to build things in America that are cleaner and better than the Chinese that, conveniently these folks don't talk about. But that's how they continue to cover up their socialist goals, is by framing it in the most positive way possible.
That it's humane, and there's something wrong with you if you don't agree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then hiding the fact that it makes people dependent, which is as inhumane as it gets.
But that is unfortunately whether it's SNAP or it's welfare assistance or it's housing assistance, I mean, that's what ends up happening in many of these instances. And sometimes you end up with these nonprofits that come in and you've got fraudulent activity, and next thing you know, you've got a corruption investigation. Looking at you, New York City. Sorry, and that's, again, another criticism when cities are already strapped. And I'm sorry, but I don't think the fiscal house in Chicago is exactly solid right now.
All right, man, we finna move on, Chad. Let me see, where is it at? All right, we're going to watch this one right here, and then we're going to get into that TPUSA. We're going to get into that TPUSA before we move on. Where's my OBS? All right, here it is. This shit is crazy, man. he call it watermelon.
Unprecedented just happened in Moscow. Yesterday, Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff met with Vladimir Putin, while Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with his Russian counterpart. 3 nuclear superpowers converged in overlapping meetings, and London is in absolute panic mode because these 3 nations together have the power to end British imperial control once and for all. And Donald Trump knows.
She got a 4K webcam on that bad boy. Whatever she reading off that damn paper, bad, it's straight in front of her damn head, man. She got a 4K webcam on that bad boy.
Not only is he building new alliances with the other superpowers, he's targeting the very lifeblood of the British Empire, drug money flows. What you'll hear from the mainstream media or from all too many
Hey, look, chat, double tap the screen. Let's hit the algorithm right quick. I need y'all to get to 100 likes right quick, man. If you are just now coming in, man, double tap the screen. Let's get to 100 likes right quick, man. Thank you, JG, for the hard work, man. Cowboy Plug in the building. Thank you, man. Everybody hit the like, man. Let's hit the algorithm right quick. We finna get into it. We getting into the TPUSA next, man. We got a couple whistleblowers, and we're gonna see what Candace was speaking about. Then we'll get into that I think Destiny debated a lawyer.
Influencers in MAGA world who are still drinking Britain's geopolitical poison that says Russia or China or both will forever be our adversaries, and that we must tie ourselves forever to NATO and Europe and Ukraine and the US-UK special relationship. That's what they're still peddling to try to disorient the MAGA movement. The Anglo-American elites themselves know better. They know that the world is shifting away from them. Establishment's Wall Street Journal has recently been sounding the alarm, as these 2 headlines show. The first one says, Trump's push to end the Ukraine war is sowing fresh fear about NATO's future. And the second one, Europe fears it can't catch up in great power competition. Now, RT gleefully covered that second Wall Street Journal article.
That's the thing, Chad. When I sit back and I just look at everything and I try to make correlations, it's like, boom. NATO's feeling the pressure. The U.S. is sitting here like, look, man, we've been footing 70% of NATO's bill, man. Our money, we decide, man. But we sending Witkoff over there to holler at Putin, man. We're not sending Marco Rubio to the NATO meeting in Brussels. Trump and Vance are going to pass on the G20 and because we've been spending at 70%, but it's going to shift. Now that China's dropped these $100,000 rockets, man, what else is cheap? What else is cheap? How much does it really cost? You know what I'm saying? How much does it really cost to build one of these programs that they really go send shit through, man? Y'all know what kind of programs I'm talking about. How much does that really cost? We've been led to believe that these rockets that are $4 to $15 million, you know what I'm saying? Now they getting pumped out for 100 racks, you know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. It's a difference. The U.S. gotta, you know, we understand that it's a shift coming. We've been spending, what was it, almost $1 trillion a year on our military and shit. Now, just if we take the rockets alone, and how many rockets we produce and the cost $4 to $15 million per rocket, and we cut that by 40, a 40th, every $4 million rocket is now 100,000. Every $15 million rocket is now 150,000. Our defense budget is it's gonna be cut. Like that's gonna be dirt cheap. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, man. Some shit gotta change right now. We seeing it. We seeing it changing right now.
Highlighting the point with this quote: Russia and China enhance their economic, technological, and military dominance, while Europe stays behind. Kokinda, and since the 1970s, I've looked at how the British game masters have played the modern version of their imperial great game, keeping the superpowers pitted against each other in perpetual conflict. All the while, the global elites continue their control over the world and over nations' economies. And I've documented how the second...
Hell no, them weapons of mass destruction. Hell no, the general public can't buy it. But what can happen is these groups like the Houthis and all of these groups, the Talibans and even these militias, you got to understand that weapon sales and black market weapon sales are alive and thriving. If China can push these to the world for 100,000, what do you think they'll go for on the black market? The black market will pay 200,000 to 300,000 for these, and they'll still be paying a fraction of what the U.S. is talking about. We're talking about 4 to 15 million. Even if they're paying 200,000 to 300,000 on the black market, they're in the game now. That's a different world.
Presidency is challenging that in unprecedented ways. So if this is your kind of fight, please hit the like and share buttons and subscribe to our channel. What I'll cover today. First, how Trump's world of sovereign nations is emerging and why the British and the Europeans are still threatening war to stop it. That the target in Venezuela is dirty money flows, not just drugs and not just Maduro. Third, how Trump's cabinet meeting shows the economic alternative. But was it coincidence that Trump's team of Witkoff and Kushner were in Moscow at the same time as China's Wang Yi? Whatever it was, the strategic optics are striking, and they reflect the...
Here you go talking about some... Argentina was a 20 billion currency exchange that already made a profit. Not a giveaway. It was never 40 billion. Get off the propaganda. It was 20 billion up front, 20 billion in Malay won. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't give a damn about what's going on in Argentina when we're trying to get our cattle back up right now. Our farmers hurting right now, man. We got 30% of farms scheduled to file for bankruptcy in Arkansas next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be all the way honest. 40 billion to Argentina, great new deal, whatever. Man, what's up with our farmers, man? That's the problem. We got to take care of home first. If home was taken care of, if everything was straight here, if Trump wasn't calling affordability a Democrat host, everything was alive and thriving, you know what I'm saying? It would be different. What's 40 billion to Argentina? Fuck it. We're all thriving. But when we got people homeless on the streets, it's finna be winter time, man. We still debating on if our kids deserve free lunch or not, man. 40 billion to Argentina. Honestly, fuck it.
New reality in the world that this represents. Since the end of World War II, British imperial strategy has depended on one fundamental principle: keep the superpowers fighting each other. The Cold War, Russia-China tensions, the U.S. versus Red China. As long as the geopoliticians can use the United States as their dumb giant, acting in their interests, not in ours, they could keep it up. Rubio made clear yesterday in the cabinet meeting that that world is over.
It's also an honor to be involved in and be a witness to what I believe is the most transformational year in American foreign policy since the end of the Second World War, at least. And it's transformational because for the first time in a long time, we have a president who basically puts America at the forefront of every decision we make in our relations with the world.
How?
It sounds weird to people, like, of course.
Now listen. Trump does put America first in a lot of our negotiations. But to say every single one of them is a little damn crazy. It's a little crazy.
Of course you always do. No, that hasn't always been the case until about a year ago.
Because our farmers just got screwed.
We've all witnessed in our own respective spaces how in every interaction the president has with the world, the goal he has in mind is very simple. Does what you want us to do, or is it what is it going to make us stronger? Is it going to make us richer? Is it going to make us safer? If it is, he's for it. If it's not...
Okay. Now when you say it like that, is it going to make us stronger, richer, or safer? I can agree with that. I think Trump sits down at the table and one of those things do have to hit. Some part of the deal. We got to become stronger, safer, or richer. But more often than not, it's not what the public wants. Or it's not as transparent as we want it. You know what I'm saying? Like when they can always feel like, okay, this move is making America safer. Well, how is it making us safer? We can't really tell you because that's national security. Okay. Well, we just cut this deal and it's going to make America stronger. How is it making America stronger? Well, we really can't tell you because that's part of national security. But what they can tell us is how it's going to make us wealthier. And that's what they've been spoon feeding us. That's exactly what they've been spoon feeding us this whole time. Straight up, man.
He's against it. That's why Trump's approach to Russia and China is completely different than what has come before. It's Russia as a nation with legitimate concerns, and that's why the Ukraine negotiations are actually moving forward. Similarly with China, last week's Trump-Xi phone discussion and the upcoming summits represent something the British establishment fears more than anything: direct dialogue between sovereign nations outside of their rules-based liberal free trade order. The game isn't working anymore, and Europe and Britain are being left out in the cold and are becoming irrelevant. Their response? Try to sabotage the peace process to continue and escalate the war. Recent Council on Foreign Relations webinar on Ukraine, Liana Fix, their senior fellow on Europe, who, big surprise, studied at the London School of Economics, laid out what she called the playbook to sabotage the peace negotiations. And then she said,
something will build up that resembles actual pressure on Russia, and perhaps over the course of the next year will make Russia's position worse, so that they're not so confident that they can get the upper hand and come through with maximalist demands in the negotiations.
Yeah, but see, XX, everything that's to do with China right now, I'm taking this shit with a grain of salt, and I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Why? Let me put up my gimbal. Let me get my gimbal back up, man. I gotta cook right here for a second, man. I gotta cook right here for a second. Look, when it comes to this China shit, bro, this is gonna be an ongoing thing. It's gonna be an ongoing thing. I'm taking all of this shit with a grain of salt, especially right now while we outside of Venezuela. Because yes, they want Maduro out, but have y'all seen the lady that was speaking afterwards? She said like, hey, look, man, all of that shit that's going on, that oil buying, man, y'all are gonna be able to buy it. They're trying to work out a $1.7 trillion deal on that oil down there. China's not gonna be happy with that damn oil. And so what might happen if it actually comes out like, hey, look, man, once this shit over with, y'all can't be doing all of that business with China on that oil and shit. You know what I'm saying? China needs that oil right now. So, and if China somehow lets them get them little ass rockets, those $99,000 rockets, whether they sell them to them directly, which they probably won't, but even if they're not getting them directly, what's an extra $50,000 per rocket? You can literally put 50% on top of the rocket, a 50% premium, and still be affordable. And I'm just gonna keep it real. If Maduro get a few of them bad boys over there, they're saying they're mass producing them already. The China is always secretive about their military. China doesn't just come out and say, look, this is what's going. There, especially in the private sector, man, most of that shit is government. You know what I'm saying? The government releases this shit. We have someone in the private sector in China saying they're mass producing these damn rockets. They're trying to, you know, distance themselves from the government a little bit. So once these rockets hit the market, man, it's a little bit of plausible deniability. Well, you're America, you're for free markets. We gave our contractors some little free markets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we didn't sell them directly to Venezuela, but somehow or another, Venezuela might pay that 50% premium and be alright, man. Or China could loan it, you know. Yeah, Venezuela don't got a lot of money, you know, right now, but they already doing $60 billion loans and shit. This just put a lot of shit into perspective, man. They're mass producing them right now. If they can get them bad boys over there, man, the game just changed. That's probably why Trump's escalating this shit right now, trying to go ahead and get the job done. Because if they get some of them $100,000 bad boys over there, even if they spend $10 million on them, if they spend $10 million on them, that's 1,000, man. That's 1,000 of them bad boys, man. Think about how much money that would cost in just anti-missile defense. If they send 1,000 of those, quote unquote, for $10 million, that's gonna cost us over $1 billion in defense just to defend that shit. That's a money play, man, too.
I think that's the European game plan. It does not really include the hope that a fair solution in negotiations might be found. From their perspective, this is more or less just performative politics that they have to push back against, that they have to adapt, and then to try to focus on what is really important.
Thank you, Najee.
To keep Ukraine in the fight and to make sure that Russia's position worsens over time.
But it goes beyond keeping the Ukrainians fighting. The head of NATO's military committee, Admiral Dragon, took it to another level when he said NATO was considering preemptive action against Russia. British General Sir Richard Sheriff, a former top NATO commander who says that Trump is under Putin's influence, declared that war with Russia is inevitable. It's the reality that these warmongers don't want to face. They have as few cards left to play as does Zelensky. Zelensky has been boxed in by U.S.-directed corruption scandals, and the Europeans, well, they've gutted their economies with green policies, open immigration, and free trade. The Europeans themselves are likely to be caught up in Ukrainian corruption scandals. The balance of power is indeed shifting to the United States, Russia, and China, and their cooperation around real physical economic activity. Leave the banker-run economies of the world behind, and that terrifies the City of London more than anything. So, while the empire wants to keep the war in Europe going, they certainly don't.
Then speaking about that, what if China just lets Russia start grabbing them bad boys? You know what I'm saying? At a discount. Forget a premium. See, when I was talking about Venezuela, I was talking about at a premium because they don't want to get directly involved in the conflict. I'm going to keep it real. When it comes to this China, Ukraine, Russia, America's already saying, look, Zelensky, take the deal or we're done. China let Russia get them bad boys at a discount, man. Okay, we're making them for 100. We're selling them for 100,000. So if China's selling them, if China has a retail price tag on them for 100,000, believe that they're making them for less than 15. They're making them bad boys for like 15, 16K over there, probably putting $100,000 price tag on it. So they can probably give them to Russia for about 35, 40,000. You know what I'm saying? 50,000. Russia buy, 10 million of those, $10 million worth of those for 50,000. Now it's a different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game.
Don't want Trump to take on the real enemy in this hemisphere. Or as J.D. Vance said in a post, we've been told for decades the U.S. military must go everywhere and do the impossible all over the world. But the red line for permanent Washington is using the military to destroy narco-terrorists in our own hemisphere. Let's look at the backstory of the firestorm over Venezuela and why Pete Hegseth is in the crosshairs. This is where it gets really interesting, because this is where Trump is striking at the financial jugular of the British Empire. The main financial weapons of the British Empire have been severalfold. The obvious side is the official side. Central banks, their grip on money flows through institutions like the Bank of England, the Bank for International Settlements, the other central banks. But the underside of this is the trillions of dollars of dirty money that are tied to drug trafficking and other illegal activity. This relationship between the British Empire, the global financial system, and international drug trafficking and terrorism.
I'm going to keep it real. If y'all want to be all the way completely honest, with the way we broke it down earlier, how they're making those missiles with just regular shit, it's nothing special, like concrete and shit, man. They could just sell the plans, you know what I'm saying? They could really just sell the plans, send some people over there, a team over there, just like we import these workers to come show us how to run our factories, man. They send a few of them Chinese over there, man, maybe they get to own the company or whatever. China gets some equity inside of the weapons factory or whatever's going on, and shit, they start producing them bitches themselves. China's probably over there putting them together for like 15, 16,000, man. 15, 16,000. That's gonna change the damn game, bro. Over the next 3 to 4 years, that's finna change the damn game.
It's something that researchers at Promethean Action have exposed for decades. So if you want to understand how the enemy really operates, subscribe to Promethean Action's free newsletter and you'll get the strategic. Went to Colombia and met with the finance chief of the FARC narco-terrorist gang. So praised the financial sophistication of the commander and said that he hoped the meeting would mark the beginning of a new relationship between the FARC and the United States. What was that relationship? The dirty money that flows through the banking system and provides essential liquidity, especially during times of crisis. Look at Venezuela. You're looking at a key linchpin in this financial and political nexus. How did it come to play that role? Thank the British. Maduro's predecessor and mentor, Hugo Chavez, modeled himself on guess who? Britain's Tony Blair. Right before his 1998 election to the Venezuelan presidency, Chavez said, "This few years I've been revising my positions, and I'm very close to the thesis of British Prime Minister Tony Blair when he speaks of the third way." Throughout his rise to power, Chavez was groomed by British diplomats in Venezuela and lauded by the British press. He was carrying on in that tradition. Venezuela isn't just another socialist dictatorship. It's a node in a network of drug trafficking, money laundering, and financial flows that sustains not just the Maduro regime, but a significant...
Well, what the hell isn't? At this point in the world, everybody got a little something going on, man. I think probably Australia and London, them probably the only ones that ain't got it cracking, man. Let's just be real here, man. America got the weed. Let's break this shit all the way down, man. Let's break this shit all the way down. You got South America and Mexico and them. They got the cocaine. You go to the Eurasia. They got the poppy and shit. And the chemicals to make all the fentanyl, man, and they sending this shit over here, man. America got the weed and shit. Let's just be all the way honest. Let's be all the way honest, man.
Significant portion of the offshore banking system that the British Empire depends on. And that's what Trump has targeted. That's the real reason for the hysteria over Hegseth. That's why the British have cut off intelligence sharing.
Have y'all ever thought about that? Like, if I know we say weed is medical. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you smoke, smoke. Matter of fact, light it up now. But have y'all not understood? Have y'all came to the realization that America is the world's weed network? Like, the world searches for American weed. Do y'all not understand? Like, people get caught flying packs in every damn day. Like, they look at Americans when they hop off of these damn planes like, oh, he might have that shit on him. He might have some loud on him, you know what I'm saying, some gas. We got to look up under, you know what I mean? Like, America got a reputation for being drug smugglers when it comes to weed. I don't think people realize that. We talking about all this narco-trafficante shit. Well, hey, man, when it comes to that good herb, man, we're the best in the world with it. Probably the best in the world with the logistics of this shit as well, man, when it comes to good weed. Now, if you want to talk about that dirt shit, the boo-boo, the brick weed, you can go on somewhere else, man. When you talking about that some good, yeah, America got it on lock.
Over Venezuela. Not because they care about Maduro or Venezuelan democracy, but because Trump is targeting the money.
I ain't not talking.
The strike group, the USS Gerald Ford in the Caribbean. Is it only there because of its firepower? Think about the enormous electronic surveillance capacity that carrier group has. Every time we strike a drug boat, you can bet the lines of encrypted communications light up between the traffickers and their higher-ups. Guess who's tracing that and putting together a detailed picture of the entire apparatus? Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary, said something really revealing recently. Listen to how he answers this question.
What's been the most surprising thing you've learned as Treasury Secretary about the job that you weren't expecting?
The national security aspect. So I would say that I spend 40 or 50% of my time on national security.
Think about that. Why is the Treasury Secretary spending 40 to 50% of his time on national security? National security and financial security are inseparable. Financial weapons are the real weapons of empire. When Trump goes after Venezuela, he's not really going after a government. He's going after the financial structure that keeps the British imperial system functioning. If you're going to take on that imperial financialized free trade system, what do you replace it with?
All right, we finna get her ass the hell up out of here, man. All right, she done talked a little too long, man. We're gonna get her ass the hell up out of here. All right, chat, let's get into the TPUSA shit. All right, we got TPUSA whistleblowers right here. This lady right here is saying, that the donors of TPUSA need to pull that damn money out. We heard about the trad wives and shit. We seen what Laura Loomer was talking about, trad wives getting banged while she was ready to, breed with the guy she was calling an Aryan goddess. You know what I'm saying? Shit's crazy over here, man. This shit's a little crazy over here. I guess when you get to getting that money like that, 150 millions and shit, it can get a little weird around there. It can get a little weird, man. A little swinger action.
Whatever.
Man.
My name is Amanda. I'm just going to say what I have to say, and if it lands in the right hands, whatever. My name is Amanda. I've tried to record this like 7 times, and it's just not working, so I'm just going to say what I have to say, and if it lands in the right hands, whatever. My name is Amanda. I worked for Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk for 4 years. One of those years, I was a donor relations officer in Phoenix, Arizona, and that means is I worked with all of the donors within a certain region for all of Turning Point's assets. So Turning Point Action, Turning Point Academy, Turning Point USA, Faith, Blexit, podcasting, everything. When I saw Candace Owens' comment this morning, granted, I am not a Candace Owens fan, personally, and that comment, I felt like I had to say something. What I did for Turning Point USA within that department was some of the most, I can't even begin to describe it, because the people that I felt like I was working for were not, they were horrible. I mean, like, it was just some of the worst times ever. And I was working for such an amazing, brilliant idea of an organization, and to see it for what it really was behind the scenes, and what makes it Turning Point, which is money. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. That's how it works in the nonprofit world. It took me so much towards the end not to tell donors to take their money elsewhere. That was the first time I've said that out loud. And I'm so proud of myself for being able to come out of that organization and be who I am today.
She act like that shit was a cult. Damn. Chad, she act like that. I'm so proud. That's the same shit people say when they get out them cults, man. I'm so glad I got out of this organization and became what I... Damn. Was it that bad?
Brilliant friends that I know that are still there are able to find their moment to move on. Gosh. The people that are behind it all are just, like, the worst of the worst. I don't take things personally. This is not a personal vendetta. I just know there are serious backings to whatever her claim is. I've seen it. I know
Turning Point.
Disgust and the terrible things that go on. So, anyway, just leaving this here for people to find and see what they think, but all in all, stop watching the news. Stop paying attention to people who just don't matter in your life. Focus on your family, your friends, your loved ones. Get out of the political world. It's not real. None of it is real. But yeah, love the Lord. Love the Lord. Love the Lord. Amen.
All right, man. The organization was Turning Point, man. She said the people that she worked around was despicable people, horrible people. It took everything in and out to tell the donors to take their money elsewhere. She said she's glad that she made it out like it was a damn cult. It's crazy. All right, here go another whistleblower.
I worked for Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith, and I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests and what he wanted to do, as well as there was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. tried doing this. He tried creating a Doge department. It's assassinated. The thing that makes me believe this inner circle was constantly working against Charlie was because of the fact that he had a whole entire branch of Turning Point that he had no idea about, and that was the stock market branch. Now, the thing about this branch is it's been getting millions of dollars poured into it over the past 4 years now, and that's been seen through their latest tax returns, which were also filed late, which was weird, but that's not a topic for another time. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever. Now, if you also look into it a little bit deeper, if you look at the staff on that branch
Candace gonna go
specifically,
crazy.
it says zero. It says there's nobody employed in that branch, yet they're pouring $5 million into funds for employees. It makes sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about originally, and I think that he was planning to expose that, and that's ultimately what got him killed.
A lot of people are asking, did you really work for Turning Point USA? And yes, I did. I'll tag some photos in the next clip just to show you guys that I did work for them.
So he said Charlie Kirk found the $5 million slush fund, man. I don't know, man. How do y'all feel about that, man? I don't know, man. All right, Chad. We on like an hour and a half in. I'm finna open up the I'm gonna open up the phone lines. We finna watch this. I guess I'll let y'all pick, man. I let y'all pick yesterday. Y'all wanna watch this Destiny debating two lawyers? Is Destiny debating two lawyers? Or do y'all want to watch some of that Candace episode? Or it was a caller that called into Joe Rogan and said Trump is Jewish Freemason, and not Joe Rogan, but Alex Jones, and Trump responded. Where do Lisp go? I ain't had no Lisp. Oh, you talking about in the video? The hell did you say? Delete all food stamps. Alright, Chad, we just finna get into what the hell I wanna watch. Y'all don't wanna tell me. I just wanna watch what the hell I wanna watch.
Capital punishment is not murder. Excuse me, sorry.
when you're the head of the executive and you're saying that your political opposition needs to be investigated, when we've already seen him fabricate indictments, calling out the specific...
people can be investigated.
Sorry, I know you are pretending to be a lawyer, okay? But generally speaking, the President of the United States does not give direct instruction to the head of the Department of Justice to issue indictments.
You can bow out now if you're not going to respond to anything I say. I'm out.
I'm muted.
Bye. See ya, dude.
Useless. I muted.
That is really manifestly dangerous. That is weakening our military. That is what you're advocating for.
But excuse me, what's sick and disgusting is the fact that the President of the United States is deploying the military that he knows that he can't do. You keep saying he's following the law. Well, then why was he complaining about not being able to do it with Minnesota when all of BLM was going? And he knows he's breaking the law. The disgusting thing is using your own military. What do you mean? What part do I need to refresh on? What other thing do you not know about? Tell me. I can educate you. Since apparently you don't.
Also,
it's not on Twitter for you.
We're going to be discussing the recent shooting and killing of at least one National Guard member in Washington, D.C. So on November 26, 2025, near Farragut West Metro Station in Washington, D.C., there was a shooting of two National Guard members, Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. Sarah Beckstrom has since died from her wounds, and Sergeant Andrew Wolf is still, as far as I can tell, in critical condition. The suspect is in custody. He is an Afghan national, Ramanullah Lakanawal. Excuse my pronunciations. I'm very bad at foreign names. There has been much discussion about why this happened and who is to blame. Tonight's prompt is Trump responsible for the shooting of these two National Guard? Why or why not? And we've got some great guests to talk about it. I appreciate you all for coming, and apologies for the little tech support at the beginning, but we had to do what we got to do. I want to give the mic first to Destiny, and we'll just kind of go around, introduce ourselves, give us opening thoughts and what we have to say. Go ahead, Destiny. Open us up.
Okay, so I don't know if I would say 100% that Trump is fully responsible, but if anybody is responsible, he's pushed it basically as close to the line as possible. I think that Trump has engaged in behavior that has made all of the National Guards of every state and all of the federal police to have the most antagonistic relationship possible with all of the different states, or in D.C., just the territory of Washington, D.C. So I think that Trump has engaged in behavior that has increased the danger for all of the people that are deployed. I think that every single time a bad thing happens, I think that he tries to capitalize on it with some kind of policy. I would argue that Trump has been waiting for and loves these types of moments, and he's waiting for more moments like these to happen so that he can continue to expand on his executive power. Every time it does, we saw him jump on this as soon as these two National Guardsmen were shot. I think he deployed another 500 to D.C., and yeah, I just think that Donald Trump is engaged on a war path where he wants to invite as much self-destruction as possible so that it gives him more excuses basically to leverage and expand his executive power and authority.
And we'll get into it as we go. Next up, Soy Pill. What you got?
Yeah, pretty much what Destiny said. I would add that Trump, is inflaming all of the tensions by, illegally putting the National Guard into all of these places. He's violating posse comitatus. He's going against the wishes of various governors and even the National Guard themselves, who say they don't need to be there and don't want to be there. Then essentially putting the blame on him by putting people in places they don't need to be and inflaming the tension so that when violent things happen, he can justify doing it more, grabbing more executive power. It is very clearly at least his fault insofar as this never should have happened and wouldn't be happening under a Kamala presidency. Obviously, Donald Trump didn't shoot these people, but also by the Trump MAGA-tard standard of Trump, the Biden administration letting all these illegals in and then saying, oh, well, it's his fault for letting them in. Trump's administration granted this person asylum, so I'm also going to give him blame for that.
Okay, thank you for being here. I'm sure we'll get into it. Good Logic.
Yeah, I'm Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Logic, Manuka attorney, converted into a podcaster, and the nonsense that the left is trying to... when I first heard the topic discussion was Trump is to blame for the shooting of the National Guard, I actually laughed out loud that they could try to spin this, that what it starts with is a premise that everything Trump is looking to do is motivated by evil. This is just an assumption that they build into whatever he says or does, that his objective is to just basically harm as many people as possible. And then they take a situation that they'll create a situation as volatile as possible and ratchet it up. Going back to Biden bringing in ridiculous numbers of millions of illegal aliens, letting them stream across our borders, then trying to defend the criminal aliens. He's not even trying to get rid of your run-of-the-mill illegal aliens. He's trying to get rid of the criminals and screaming and standing in front of ICE and trying to stand in front of federal officers doing performing their duty.
All right, so I've heard half of his argument, and I didn't really critique the other guys because I ain't here. But when he says criminal, we gotta be honest. If they cross the border illegally, they are deemed a criminal now. So it's not any illegal alien is considered a criminal illegal alien. I'm just gonna keep it real by the right. Let's just be real.
Duty, and then they turn around and say, well, this is all Trump's fault, while the left is continually ratcheting up the violence, ratcheting up just how they want their side to be as angry as possible. You'll hear them say, go out there, march, go out there, march. You'll never hear the left say, make sure you do it peacefully. You'll never hear that at all. And then when there's this terrible incident, which I assume that the people arguing against me would admit at least that this is a tragedy, that Sarah Beckstrom was shot, another person I think is still in critical condition when I last heard, that I think they would admit that this is a tragedy. Then they turn around and they say it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault because he's trying to enforce the law, which is just preposterous. But I look forward to getting into their legal arguments so we can break this down for all of you.
Okay, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Next up, Andrew Branca. Is that how you say your last name? I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter. So, of course, I'm an attorney. I'm probably best known for the law of self-defense. I'm an expert, probably the preeminent expert in the nation on use of force law, and I do a lot of legal and political commentary. I think there's no rational view in which Trump has any legal responsibility for what happened here. We have an Afghan assassin who walked up to a woman with a revolver in his hand and shot her through the chest. There's only one person who caused that death. That's the Afghan rebel. We can engage in all kinds of estrogenic butterfly effects, and Trump is the bad daddy, so everything that happens that's bad is Trump's fault. But Trump has executive authority under Article 2. He's the democratically elected president. He's allowed to do things, including trying to ensure the safety of the American populace in its city. And if bad things happen because he's doing things he's allowed to do, it's the bad people who made that happen.
Okay, and with that, let's kind of get into it as we go. I guess I'd start by reading a tweet from Destiny here, and I'm curious if you stand by this position, sir, and then we can just kind of get into the open discussion. You said on 9/15 on November 26th, you wrote as follows: they weren't protecting D.C., they couldn't even make arrests, they were sent there to die by real Donald Trump and his cronies, so they could rile up the base to distract them from the monumental failing of every single part of this administration. Is that your current position, sir?
Yes, I think that Trump is trying intentionally to inflame tensions as much as possible so that he can expand his executive power as much as possible. One thing that you're going to hear over and over again in this debate, it's already happened in the opening statements, is remember, every single time a conservative criticizes a Democrat, it's about what they should do, what their moral obligation is, and what a good leader would do to guide the country. But whenever they talk about Trump with the conservatives, it's always what is the outer perimeter of legal actions that he is theoretically allowed to take. There's no question of whether or not his leadership is moral or what his end game is on anything, although he would fail in the legal realm as he has been over and over again, and he would fail on these other two as well. But the question is why? So for instance, earlier you talked about leftists celebrating violence. Why is Donald Trump incapable of saying that the entire country needs to be less violent? Why is he incapable of saying anything that equally criticizes his side?
See, this is right, and this is what the left, this is what you on the left tend to do. It's you're continually ratcheting up the violence, and then you're looking for an all sides type of thing. And to harken back, and I don't want to get into the whole Black Lives Matter thing, but when we look back at 2020, when we saw the whole Black Lives Matter issue rise up, it was considered an affront for people and offensive for people to say all lives matter. Now, I think that if you actually step back from a practical perspective, you would agree that all lives matter. But given the context, the idea of saying all lives matter in that context was deemed offensive because there was some perceived unique, terrible position for the black community, and it was as if you were disparaging their genuine plight by just trying to make it a general concern. So when you come here, Destiny, and you say, why can't he just say that all sides need to dial it back when there's been just bludgeoning from one side against the other, it just sort of rings as if you're trying to just whitewash. They're like, oh yeah, both sides are bad, when that's just not reality.
Sure.
It's not reality.
Two really quick and easy questions. Did Joe Biden condemn the BLM violence?
I wasn't looking to
answer. If you don't know, that's fine. The answer is yes. That's fine. No, wait. Well, I know you don't care because you don't care to make an impression. So the answer is yes, number one. And number two, did Donald Trump pardon every single January 6th protester?
We can't.
How is that relevant?
Just real quick.
I'm not deflecting. You brought up BLM. You brought up BLM.
No, I did bring up BLM, but I brought it up to make a point.
Yeah, your point is wrong. That's the point I'm making. That your point is stupid.
No, the point that I'm making is in certain situations, when you try and just deflect to saying, let's just make this a general message, it's ignoring the actual problem. You're trying to purposefully ignore the actual problem. In 2020, the left was saying that the other side is ignoring the problem by trying to say all lives matter. And what I'm saying is you're ignoring the problem.
It was a super easy question. Did Biden condemn the BLM riots? Did Biden condemn the violence?
I have no idea. He wasn't empowered during the BLM riots.
He was running for election because he was running for election.
Like the face of the Democratic Party.
You literally can't even answer. You don't even know. Why even bring up BLM? If you don't know anything was going on at the time, then just don't bring it up. That was the first question. So the answer is yes. You can go research it later. The second question is: did Donald Trump pardon every single J6 protester? Did he?
Gang, both of you, please. We can't hear when you guys are talking over each other. So I'd ask that Again, you wait for the other person to finish their statement, then you can respond, and I'll try to make sure that you aren't interrupted during your response. And that's what we'll
Because logic, to be clear, in your intro, you
just real quick, Floyd Pill.
Yeah.
Let Logic finish his statement, and then you can jump in, and Andrew seems to want in as well. So this will.
No, I'm fine. I mean, I always
what I'm
have something to
saying
say,
is
but I'll let you guys go. It's okay.
I'll tag you in soon, brother.
He's about to
My
yap
point-
and not answer either of those questions, by the way.
No, my point is that you're trying to deflect into something that's relatively meaningless as to whether or not he actually condemned it. Who cares? How is that relevant to the point I was making? The only point I was
Because
making
you said that leftists were trying to ratchet up the violence. What do you mean, how is it relevant? It speaks directly to the issue. Hold on, just one more. I'm going to do this one more time, and then if he doesn't answer, that's fine. So the first question is, did Biden condemn the BLM rights? The answer is yes.
I have
Did
no
Donald
idea.
Trump? That's fine. That's fine. Don't yap again. Answer my second question. Answer my second
question. I
What?
answered it. I mean, you're answering a question for me, and you asked me a question, which I assume is a sincere question, and then you try to say yes, he did. So I say, when did he?
He did it on August 31st, 2020. Look up YouTube Global News. There's a video titled Joe Biden Condemns Violence and Ongoing U.S. Protests. There you go. Look it up in your own time. Number one. The second question is, did Donald Trump pardon every single J6 protester/rioter?
100%.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Right, so the reason this isn't irrelevant, God Logic, is because we're talking about how Trump has made the conditions for this violence to happen. Yeah, he didn't pick up the gun and shoot these National Guard members, but he's drumming up the rhetoric. And when you say, hey, the left never says be peaceful, Destiny brings up an example of Joe Biden explicitly doing that, and then we point out that Trump is refusing to condemn the right and is actually calling for the deaths of people in his own government, that this is part of the rhetoric that is causing these National Guard people to be shot. And you say, well, all lives matter, I'm deflecting to BLM, it's got to be a generalized statement. No, we're saying he needs to say turn down the rhetoric, and he's doing the opposite. He's inflaming everyone. He's getting people...
All right, chat. Do y'all like cold pizza? What's up, Derek? Double tap the screen, shut a live out. Do y'all like cold pizza, chat? Put 2 in the chat if you like cold pizza. Put 3 in the chat if you do not like cold pizza. Because I just had to make a split-second decision on whether I'm going to throw this pizza in the air fryer or just eat that shit cold. But I put it in the air fryer, you know what I'm saying? I went to Shalosky's and they had the buy one, get one free Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? Had to get it together.
People killed. That's where the blame comes from.
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate the promotion from good logic to God logic, but it's just good logic. And second,
Destiny probably talking too fast because he off of Adderall or something. I ain't gonna lie.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I just want to make sure we know what we're talking to here. But the point that you're trying to make, as far as him escalating, you have to sort of have to step back for a second and ask yourself, what exactly is he supposed to be dialing back from the right? You're saying that the left is that after there's violence that happens, the left tries to dial it back. What I'm saying to you is, what violence from the right are you even saying that he should be dialing back? You're trying to sit here and say that he should be
when he's saying
on the
we
right.
should hang
Calm
members
down,
of our
calm down.
government. Well, you're asking me a question.
No,
when
but
he says we should hang members of our government, yeah.
Through trial. Through trial. There's a very big difference between saying, hey, these people need to be tried for some very serious crimes that I believe they committed.
And murdered, yeah.
Because he believes they committed them.
Capital punishment is not murder.
Sometimes, chat, I get a pizza and I'll take it home and put it in the air fryer when I get home because I want that crisp. You know, I don't like the pizza that still be like a little flimsy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need my pizza to have that little, you know what I mean? Not just hard, but it gotta have that, you know, the air fryer just put that little, you know what I'm saying?
Excuse me, sorry.
when you're the head of the executive and you're saying that your political opposition needs to be investigated, we've already seen him fabricate indictments, calling out the specific bullshit. Yeah, that's fine, but the president of the United States isn't ordinarily. Sorry, I know you are pretending to be a lawyer, okay? But generally speaking, the president of the United States does not give direct instruction to the head of the Department of Justice to issue indictments. That's why the last two cases.
They work for him.
Oh, that's great. Well, do they work for him though? Because it seems like she wasn't even legally appointed, was she? Isn't Lizzie Halligan out now? Didn't all that get tossed now? It seems like it's all gone now, right? Huh? All right, looks like that wasn't very legal, huh? And now all of our cases are being looked at. So no, that wasn't the case.
Also,
Sorry.
Just real quick, Joe. No one can hear you on your channel.
So defensive.
Okay.
Well,
Andrew,
rule of law
go ahead.
matters to some of us, you know. So it's kind of annoying to see the president of the United States so flagrantly abuse it.
Okay, first of all, the Department of Justice works with the president. He can tell them what to do. They're part of the executive branch. Second of all, capital punishment is not murder. It's state-sanctioned. People get a trial. They get lawyers. They get juries. And
Is capital punishment murder, chat? Yes or no? I'm gonna say Yes, it is murder, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not against capital punishment either. Take it what you want. Yes, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that shit. Is capital punishment murder? Yes. Somebody put that needle in the dude's arm. He didn't do it himself. Somebody pulled them triggers if it was death by firing squad, or you know what I'm saying? Like straight up, capital punishment is definitely murder, but I am not against it. Man, hey, it is what it is.
Was made a capital offense by Congress, not by Trump. Congress created that law. Third of all violence is not bad. Why do you suggest that all the violence should be tamped down? Violence is not inherently bad. Violence in a good person is good.
But Gen 6 violence is bad.
Wait, just curious. When we say the president,
principle, though, right? You like your violence.
Yeah, when we say the
Also, Andrew, you're really low. Can you turn yourself up? Your volume.
when we say the president can give direction to the DOJ, is there any equivalent moment in the last 50 to 100 years of U.S. history where the president of the United States is directing his attorney general on who to prosecute, directing them on issuing indictments to political opponents, with even calling out the prosecutor?
How would you know? Private conversations.
Gotcha.
How
So
would
the
you
answer
know
to your question
whether
was
or not
no.
that's
The answer to your
occurred?
question was no. I asked if there's any evidence.
Man, listen, you say murder is a legal definition. Well, what the fuck did they call it before it was a legal definition? Because I'm sure when there was Neanderthals and damn early human beings, they weren't calling it murder, and they didn't have any legal definition for murder, but folks was still getting their ass up out of here. You know what I'm saying? You kill a man, you kill a woman, you murder them. I'm just gonna keep it all the way real. State sanctioned, not state sanctioned. Morality is not in question. I'm saying what the hell is going on. You took that person's life, man. Whether you got an okay and approval, or whether it's an eye for an eye, you took his life. Now, whether everybody want to get technical when it's time to see who blood on who hands, man. Who blood on who hands. But at the end of the day, man, state sanctioned or not, you take somebody like, that's murder. Now, I'm not against the death penalty. Now, I'm just gonna be real about it. That's why I wouldn't go take a damn job as the person that's gonna put that lethal injection in you. That's why I wouldn't go take a job working a damn guillotine or whatever the hell they had back in the day. Because I understand that it's murder. Is it justified? Hey, it is what it is. Call it what you want. I'm from the South.
No, you're wrong.
There is no evidence of any of this.
100% there is.
What's the evidence?
Here's one of the things I'm about to tell you.
He's about to not tell us, by the way. Spoiler alert. Go ahead.
No, I'll tell you right now. The role of the DOJ is to be manifest.
See, manslaughter is accidental. Manslaughter is accidental. The death penalty is more aligned with it was more aligned with murder than manslaughter, if you ask me. If you ask me, the death penalty and somebody, whoever is the person working the job that has to do that more aligns with murder than manslaughter. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be honest.
The will of the executive. This is one of the things that during the
There's a
confirmation
unitary executive theory. It's such bullshit. You guys don't even believe in this shit. You would lose your mind if a Democrat did this. It's such bullshit. Yeah, because this is a child. You don't even believe in this. It's so retarded.
You're terrified of actually.
That's like a person that does lethal injections or firing squad or whatever means of death, the death penalty. That's like them getting off of work and I ask them, shit, how many people you killed this week? Or how many people did you kill this month? That's a legit question for me because that's their job. And they can answer me. Oh, I only killed 2 people this week, or I only had to, lethally inject 17 people over the last 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a valid question.
Hearing an answer. So you have
No, I'm not a Democrat.
me off when you see I'm making a point that actually just completely blows up.
Can I just short circuit it and explain it like half the time
No,
it's going to
I
take you
don't
to
want
stumble
your
through it?
short circuit.
Hold on.
I don't want your short circuit because you do not know. It's not unitary executive theory. It is the sole purpose of the DOJ is to manifest the will. That is, they are part of the executive branch.
Manifest the will of who?
Of the executive.
Of the president?
Of the president
Now,
of the
why do
United
special
States.
counsels exist? Why do special counsels exist?
Special counsels exist for when there's a conflict of interest.
Why would that matter if
That's
they're
why.
only there? Wait, how can there be a conflict of interest if they only exist there to manifest the will of the president?
You're proving
because the president can have a conflict of interest.
Yes.
How can he
You're
conflict with
proving
interest with
my
his own
point.
self, with his own Department of Justice?
Oh my God. Listen. Slow down for a second. slow down, because I don't think you just understand basic civics about how our government
Basic
functions.
civics, but you won't give me an example of anybody doing what Trump did. Go ahead.
Every single president has directed their DOJ to focus on one area of law or another that they think is particularly important.
Focus on one area of law? Excuse me, that's not what we're talking about. I mentioned that Trump specifically called for indictments for two specific individuals who are political opponents, and he named the prosecutor that he wanted to lead. So who else has done this? So who did this? Did Obama do this? Did Biden do this? Give me the example. Everybody does it. Who does it? Give me an example.
First and foremost, Obama did it far worse. Obama did it far worse.
Give me an example. Who did he target?
No, Obama did it far more in a nefarious way, because what he did is he actually weaponized all of his different executive agencies.
No, exactly. The IRS bullshit. He has no arguments. You have nothing for this. Can you at least concede you have no evidence of this?
Just real quick, just housekeeping here. Gang, if you keep interrupting, we can't understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a point, and you just also say he's saying nothing, he's saying nothing.
And then you can respond, I promise.
Apparently I'm saying so much nothing.
Finish, please.
Apparently I'm saying so much nothing, you need to cut me off in the middle. The point is that he is, as the head of the executive, this is an executive agency. That is what the DOJ is. When you get Adam Schiff up there, and he's questioning Pam Bondi, saying, I'm afraid you're going to be Trump's man. It's for a woman. The point is, she's supposed to be.
No, they're not. That's just not true. You're lying. You're lying.
Yeah, chat. That's a bad boy right there. That's the Shalaskis. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad boy right there, man. Straight out the air fryer with it.
It's not true. Merrick Garland was 100% Biden's man. That's exactly.
Then why was a special prosecutor appointed to investigate Biden's documents?
Because when you have, you're only proving my point.
That's why. That's why.
No, because the point is that if the president was the unitary controller of the attorney general, the president would tell the attorney general, don't investigate this. You see how easy that is? You see how stupid your theory is?
Destiny, think for a second. If it was already an independent agency, there could not be a conflict of interest between the DOJ and the president. It's because the DOJ is an extension of the president that you need to have some internal affairs type of agency, which we call special counsel or special prosecutor, to go after someone who's in the president's orbit. That's why you
Why wouldn't the president just tell them, don't do that investigation? Why wouldn't the president say, just don't, why wouldn't the president say, don't investigate that?
I'm almost done. Because of the fact that the DOJ is viewed as an extension of the president, when there's something around the president that might be illegal, that's why you need a third-party special prosecutor to come in. That's what you need. It's the proof that they're actually defaulting, that they are part of the executive agency, part of the will of the president. In fact, that's the only way we, the people, have any power over them, is through the president directing them. That's how we actually have representation in who...
Who in New York? I'm in Texas right now. It's a bad boy right here. This pizza.
Who's being prosecuted. Now go ahead with your question.
Sure, so two things, so just real quick. So one, there's a difference between having a legal agenda and directing somebody to prosecute particular political opponents. You acknowledge that, right?
Why? No. Why? Why would that be? Why is that different?
I'm sorry, hold on, let me just restate that. I'm not going to say it. If you want to make yourself sound that stupid, that's fine. You do not recognize a difference or a distinction between a president saying, I would like to focus more on this kind of crime, versus the president saying, these two opponents of mine, political opponents from 2 administrations ago, I want you to prosecute them. If you say there's no distinction...
Are there grounds for prosecution?
You wouldn't know before until you do the investigation. Isn't that kind of part of what the DOJ does? Number one. Number two... No, why do you keep laughing? You're not making a point.
The DOJ is not an investigative agency.
Really? What does the FBI do? How does the DOJ get evidence for an indictment to go to a grand jury?
It's a different agency.
It's under the DOJ. It's literally a subsidiary of the DOJ. What are you talking about? Okay, stop. The question was, if this is so ordinary, if this is so commonplace, then just show me one other time it's happened. It should be really easy. If presidents do this all the time, what other president has directed his attorney general? Give me one example. Don't just say it happens all the time. Give me an example.
Would you like
War on
an
drugs.
answer?
War on drugs?
That's not an answer. Are we just saying random words together?
Stop. Brinka, do you have an answer to his question?
It's irrelevant whether it's ordinary, if it's within the president's authority, and it is. He's allowed to do unordinary things.
Why not just say that? Just say that. It's extraordinary. It's never happened. Yeah, that's great. Just open with that. Instead of saying everybody does it. Not everybody does it.
I just said it.
Open with anything
abuser of the DOJ.
Because you won't stop talking.
You say wrong shit. I can't help it.
Describing this as vaguely as possible. It's, hey, this is the president's purview to do this thing and direct these departments. And we're saying, hey, when has the president ever called for the killing of people within his government in this certain way. Not, hey, he's going and saying maybe we could kill American citizens if it helps the war on drugs, or hey, we need to
Obama
control the
killed
border.
American citizens. He didn't just call for it, he did it.
Obama went to Eric Holder, he asked his DOJ, and his Office of Legal Counsel, he had the authority to do it. He didn't direct them. That's the difference between Obama
Why
and
does
Trump.
his DOJ give
Barr
him authority?
literally,
How does his
Barr
DOJ give him authority?
He went
That's
to them
like
for the legal
the
memo. What do you mean? The
secretary.
whole Eric Holder memo literally details this. He went to them to find out if he felt he had the authority to even act this way. There's a difference between him and Trump firing every attorney general that he doesn't agree with.
The president is not subordinate to the Department of Justice.
The president is subordinate to the Constitution of the United States, and he's supposed to act in a way that comports with what the law is. So the president might consult his Department of Justice instead of like Donald Trump, who only confers with his personal attorneys, and instead of breaking every law and hoping to win in court, Obama tried to follow the law ahead of time, which is what you're supposed to do. The law is there to check your behavior before you do. It's not there as a consequence for you to intentionally break it over and over again.
Okay, we gotta let the other side respond without interruption, just for a little bit. Okay, just go ahead, Bronca, please. You can respond.
If it's
I'll try to
okay
make
for
sure you aren't
Obama, if it's okay for Obama to actually kill American citizens, why would it be inappropriate for Trump to advocate killing American citizens without actually doing it?
Because Obama was exercising his powers as the head of the military, as the commander-in-chief. No, as the commander-in-chief, number one, and number two, it was in a theater of war where we already had a pre-existing authorization for the use of military force. In order for it, we already have a broad AUMF that has been not challenged by any prior president to operate in the Middle East. Now, unless I'm not aware of this, were any of the people that Donald Trump said should be tried for seditious conspiracy or whatever, were any of these people part of Al-Qaeda or some terrorist outfit that I'm just not aware of that Trump didn't publicize information about?
Sedition doesn't require that.
Oh, do we have any evidence of them committing sedition?
Yes, we have a video of them committing sedition.
Oh, okay, wait. So just to be clear, okay, so Donald Trump retweeting things saying that these people should be tried and executed, that in and of itself is totally fine, but a bunch of people going on video saying you shouldn't follow unlawful orders, which is literally part of the military code, that's seditious behavior?
Yes, it's sedition in the broader political context.
It's literally not. It's absolutely not. So you're completely destroyed on that. You've been mauled completely out of existence. What a stupid... How could you possibly think that these people committed seditious conspiracy? But Donald Trump, who's literally retweeting people saying they should be... So now in the future, just to be clear, anytime I say somebody should be killed, I should just say first, oh, he should be tried for a crime and killed first. And then we're safe. Oh, it's a genius idea. Oh, my God.
Destiny.
Stop, please. I want to hear the argument. So the argument about the sedition. Why is it sedition? Why is them going on to and making an ad saying you should disobey unlawful orders? How is that sedition? Can you make the argument?
That would not be seditious. It's seditious in the
It's not just that. It's the context. It's the context in which they're saying that, and it's simultaneously they're saying, by the way, everything Trump's doing is unlawful. They're saying
Did they say that in that video?
They said that in that video?
It doesn't have to
They said, we understand you're under intense pressure.
Okay, so
they're under
when
intense
these
pressure.
people put out a thing, you have to read between the lines and imply what they're saying.
No, you don't have to imply what you're saying.
Remember what I said, liberals need to act moral and above board on everything, but Donald Trump is only constrained by the outer perimeter of our delusional interpretation of law. Amazing.
No. When they go out there, and weeks earlier, Slotkin is going out there saying he's issuing illegal orders. And then she comes out here, okay. So you're only making...
Did she say every single thing he does is legal?
Soy pill. What you're doing is you're arguing against yourself. You don't even realize when you make a point against yourself.
Lower as you go. I don't know if you're turning it down, but it was good for a minute, and then it's gone lower.
Soy pill, you're actually arguing against yourself. Because when you have these senators and these congressmen and women who go out there and say he's issuing illegal orders, and then they say if an illegal order is issued, you're honor bound on the Constitution to disobey it. The only possible purpose for making that is to basically plant the seed in the minds of military that every time they have an order, they should sit there and try calculate, is this constitutional? Do I think it's constitutional? When you try to actually put this into a practical sense, rather than applying it to an individual scenario.
Were both those statements true? Were both the statements true? Wasn't Trump issuing illegal orders?
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
no, he wasn't.
So when it was reported to murder the people in the Venezuelan boats, even when they blew the boats up, that's not an illegal order?
It's not murder. Not murder.
What is it then? For a country that we're not at war with, what would you consider that?
Wait.
It's a lawful killing.
How is it a lawful killing? What is the law? Self-defense lawyer, you said? What is the... Sorry.
Self-defense lawyer.
There is no other possible explanation.
Which name did I get now?
Logic? What was it?
You called him Chud Logic. He's good logic. I promise you. It's not God logic. It's not
He
Chud
said
Logic.
the only explanation for Slotkin saying this is to plant the seed of doubt and make him question every order. Why is it in the military training to say you shouldn't obey illegal orders? Is it to make every single military person like question every single order and like, oh, we want to have a military that's insubordinate? Or is it because you aren't allowed to follow illegal orders and you
It's the very same people. That's a good question. It's a fair question, Soy Pill. And I'll tell you, it's the very same people and those in their camp who are continually saying there's one illegal order after another where they've continually been proven wrong. They basically been claiming this is illegal, that's illegal. I will answer your question.
No,
so when she's going out there and saying,
at all.
no, because in the military, when they're being trained, they're not being trained, hey, you're going to be getting a whole bunch of illegal orders. So make sure that you're only following constitutional orders. They don't get that in their training. They don't get that warm-up. When you're getting as a follow-up, as a follow-through to, there's all sorts of unconstitutional orders, and hey, by the way, military, when you get a constitutional order, you better make sure you don't follow it. And there's also even a veiled threat in there. The veiled threat is that when we come back into power, if we decide to determine those are unconstitutional, we're going to prosecute you military members for following these orders, and you're not going to be able to say, we've even heard Schumer go out there, and we've heard others say that, hey, you're not going to be able to say we were following orders. Remember the Nuremberg trials? That's what the left has been saying right now. So in this entire context, the only reason to do it is to weaken the military.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If the Dems get back in power, they're definitely coming for Hegseth and that damn admiral and whoever else is involved with this strike on that second strike on that boat. Whether you agree with the second strike, whether you disagree with the second strike, the Democrats deeply disagree with the second strike. So if they get in power, they will use that to prosecute said people. Trump has immunity. Hegseth, your ass might be in trouble if the Dems get power. The admiral might be in trouble. Whoever's shuffling papers around, if it's a cover-up, your ass might be in trouble. Same way Trump did with Bolton, Comey, and the other lady.
Military, and have our military members basically question every single order rather than relying on the default that our military has had for the last 250 years that, hey, when I get an order, it's constitutional.
Okay, so you keep saying only reason. Could it be possible? Is there not a world that exists in which Donald Trump has done something illegal and people want the people not to follow that order? Is that possible?
They can't name one!
Okay.
The murder of the Venezuelan people after the boats, killing people after the boats already been destroyed. That's a war crime and it's illegal in the United States. You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. Great arguments. Yes, you can.
So wait, so you
okay, well, wait, hold on. I can appeal to the Rome Statute. I know we're not party to the ICC. I can appeal to international customary humanitarian law. You're not allowed to kill people that are no longer enemy combatants. Like for military law, you're not allowed to kill people that have already surrendered. White flag laws and all these things are part of our military code of conduct. So what are you citing? What do you think that you're allowed to kill people who aren't able to participate in combat anymore? What are you citing to? What do you think?
Surrendered.
What?
They weren't surrendered.
How do you even know? They were shooting at them from drones.
Okay, just real
They
quick.
weren't surrendered. They weren't taken into custody.
Before we go on,
Taken into custody is not the same as surrendered.
Hold on, stop, please. In the DoD's Law of War Manual, this was updated in July 2023, and I'm going to just read from this directly. This can give some context to the audience. Under Section 5.9, persons placed hors de combat. Persons, including combatants, placed hors de combat may not be made the object of attack. Persons placed hors de combat include the following categories of persons, provided they abstain from any hostile act and do not attempt to escape. 1. Persons in the power of an adverse party. 2. Persons not yet in custody who have surrendered. 3. Persons who have been rendered unconscious or otherwise incapacitated by wounds, sickness, or shipwreck. And 4. Persons parachuting from aircraft in distress. So, if the Washington Post
somebody ass in trouble. Somebody's finna have a list of countries that they can't go to. Somebody's about to be on an international arrest list, man. Straight up. Just like Putin can't fly everywhere and go everywhere because of that ICC warrant, man. Hey, alright.
report is correct. Andrew, could you give us the legal reasoning that, in your opinion, in your argument, why those shipwrecked
narco guys were a legal target.
Well, they weren't shipwrecked. They were blown up.
What do you think shipwrecked means?
Shipwrecked means a shipwreck.
They weren't shipwrecked. They was blown up. Well, damn, they knocked Smoker. He was holding on to a little plank piece of wood in the ocean trying not to become fish food, man.
On a reef.
No, that's
on
not
a
what it means.
shore,
It means your
deeper
ship has been
in the
rendered incapacitated. It could have been because it got wrecked, or it could have been it got blown up. The reality is that the people on the ship, even if they were enemy combatants, of which we have no proof of, by the way, even if they were, as soon as their ship has been rendered unable to perform any combat functions, and the people in the water, they have obtained.
Where does it say that?
Say what? Why?
No,
well,
no.
You're a lawyer. What do you? Hey, I'm curious. Wait. No. Inform us. You're a lawyer. When there are words that appear legally and there are statutes, how would you figure out? How would you figure out what it actually means? What would you do? What would you look up?
Are you allowed to shoot enemy soldiers who are running away?
Yes.
Why is this any different?
Because they're shipwrecked. They don't have the opportunity. They're not running away. They're in water. They're shipwrecked.
What about soldiers who are running away? They're not attacking you at the moment.
Because soldiers that are running away are still considered part of combat. Fleeing is a military operation.
Right. Why would these people in the boats get the benefit of the law of warfare where they're not engaged in any recognized military force or warfare?
Because when you're not a savage, that's how you conduct yourself as a first world country, especially as a country that says that we don't exist under the Rome Statute because we're not signatories to the ICC. We have our own military courts that are supposed to hold our own behavior accountable. That's why stuff like Abu Ghraib and that's why stuff like Gitmo is not always looking up and up. And some of it we went after. So the answer is there is international customary humanitarian law where all of us agree that there are certain rules. You can't torture people, you can't rape people,
Let me know when
you
you're
can't
done.
capture people. Well, I'm informing you since you apparently don't know anything about international law.
You're not
Murdering
answering the
people,
question. Just let me know when you're done.
the question specifically is you can't murder people that are just swing.
People that have the protection of the law of war, they have to qualify for the protection of the law of war. These are regular combatants engaged in chemical warfare against the United States. Don't qualify for the law.
Number one, even if what you just said was true, they do qualify. Number two, you have no evidence of any of those claims. An enemy combatant that is shipwrecked qualifies for prisoner of war status. Where what?
They're not in uniform. They're not.
They don't have to be in uniform.
Military force.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, I know it hurts. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Your daddy Trump just commits war crimes or Hegseth. What are you going to say? I know it hurts, but
you guys, gang, I love the energy. I love the passion. It's really great content. But we gotta let Andrew finish his point, please. Andrew, go ahead.
No, I'll let Destiny go. I just do want to say, however, that I guess I misunderstood what the nature of the format would be here. I'm unlikely to stay for 2 hours to get yelled at by Destiny. That's not a good use of my time. So if we could maybe have questions and answers and people have an opportunity to exchange views and positions, we don't have to agree, but we can inform the audience that way. Getting yelled at by Destiny for 2 hours isn't informing anybody.
I'll be nicer.
We probably we'll probably get further if you actually let people respond, and rather than just trying to cut them down before they finish, you actually just let them respond.
It would be nice if they were responsive to my questions. That'd be nice. We'd probably get somewhere faster.
We got it. Okay.
And instead of mischaracterizing as not being responsive, I'll tell you. You tell me how it fails to respond, and I'll tell you how it is. Andrew could do the same.
Also,
but I do agree.
What was the question for the debate? Because we seem to have wandered
that's what
somewhat
I'm trying
far
to do.
afield.
I'm trying to rein it back in, right? We're going to be talking about the shooting, the National Guard members, right? And who bears responsibility and to what extent they bear responsibility, and if Trump does so. So let's kind of reset, back on track. So
I have a question because they really want to answer questions.
Go ahead, ask your question. I better be on track, or else
Do you think Donald Trump has ever toned down rhetoric, or has he only ever made it worse in the last year?
He's allowed to engage in rhetoric. He's a politician. He has no
That's not what I
obligation
asked.
to.
I didn't.
I'm
He's
sorry.
allowed.
I'm sorry.
I asked if he had. I thought you were here to answer my questions, not say whether or not it was okay what Trump did.
All right, I get to speak what I'd like to say. Is that okay? You can
No,
tell
answer
the
my
audience
question.
that I
It's
failed.
not okay.
let him give his answer, and if it's not responsive to your question,
That's
remind
crazy.
him of that after he's given his answer.
I don't work for you, Soy Pill. I don't have to answer questions to your satisfaction.
Yeah, well, you also
I will
have a
answer.
goldfish
I'm
memory,
sorry.
so
Hold on. No, okay, I'm gonna have
Why
to
is
start
his
getting
name
into
Soy
I'm gonna bow out if this is. I'm not spending 2 hours of my night like this. This is pointless.
Just answer my question.
Finish your statement, Andrew. Go ahead, please.
State your question, Soy Pill, and I will provide the answer I believe is appropriate for you. Go ahead.
Okay, has Donald Trump ever turned down the rhetoric, or has he only ever inflated it and made it worse?
I think the
Especially in the
questions are
last
Okay. The question's irrelevant.
All right, chat. The phone line's open, man. If anybody want to call in and have a conversation, the phone lines are open. We can't get a Dorsey segment today because he said his phone broke. So the phone lines are open. The phone number is pinned.
Donald Trump has no obligation to turn down the
Okay,
money.
cool.
It's
So you're not
a
going to
policy.
you can stop talking now. You can bow out now if
All
you're
right,
not going to
no, we
respond to
can't.
anything I
No,
say.
no, we
I'm
can't.
out. I'm
I
out.
muted him.
Bye. See ya, dude. You're useless,
I
dude.
muted. I guess.
Remember at the start I said this is what all Republicans do is Trump is just given the outer perimeter of what he's legally allowed to do, but then on the other end, by the way, those politicians were allowed to make that video, right?
Well, hold on.
I think they actually. I think they probably broke the law. Actually.
You're unfucking believable. You're disgusting, like a subhuman. I can't believe that you guys, the free speech
that's the
guys,
base.
would say stuff like
This
this.
is
It's
your debate.
unbelievable to me.
Why?
This
How?
is
Hold
your
on.
debate.
Real quick, Destiny, please. Why did they break the law? Give us that argument, please.
When they're under 18 U.S.C. 2387, that they're trying to demoralize and discourage the military from actually following the commanding officers. That's what they're trying to do. That's what their objective is. You know it also. You can pretend that you don't know that that's what their objective is. Their objective is that every time an order comes down, which the left may question, that they have to sit there and think to themselves, is this something that I can get in trouble for down the road? That's what their objective is. Why else are they making the video? You have no answer to that because that's the only possible motivation.
The possibility is they don't want. Could it be? This might be a stretch. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. That second strike kind of gave them a reason. Like without that second strike, it would have been, a different scenario. But that second strike changed the damn game.
Just don't want them to follow unlawful orders.
Right. Okay, but then you wouldn't put it under the context of literally days after Alyssa Slotkin goes out there says that Trump is issuing illegal orders.
Well, wait. Wasn't Trump issuing illegal orders? Didn't that happen?
No, he wasn't.
So the murdering of the people
believes he did something illegal.
See now you want to go into the whole murdering that happened after the video was made, right?
How about we can talk about stealing the National Guard from the governors when Trump is using the National Guard and redeploying them to states without the governor's consent?
That actually so far when it was bouncing around the Ninth Circuit, it actually held up pretty well. See what ends up happening when these things go for the court. This is another problem with just telling a military member you decide what's unconstitutional. Let me just finish my point.
You made a claim. My understanding is the last thing that went through the DC thing, they said no, he wasn't allowed to do that. That deployment was illegal. That true or not true?
It depends on there's so many cases going on. I'm not going to tell you that I can tell you in this court versus in that court that this is the status as of right now here versus that one over there. Now maybe somehow you got your hands on some sort of AI there which is able to flesh out for you in the Ninth Circuit versus DC Circuit versus what's happening in Washington versus what's happening in Illinois, in California. Maybe you have something that can do that. I don't profess to have encyclopedic knowledge of the thousands of cases that the left has ended up causing because Trump became president. That they're just not happy with any issue any order he issues, that they're going to try and fight it in one jurisdiction after another. So I can't tell you.
Wait, hello?
In jurisdiction Y. What's your issue? You okay?
No,
you cut out.
You cut out.
Okay.
So isn't it possible then? But for what cycle? Isn't it possible then that Slotkin really did believe then, if this is really complicated, some courts are ruling some ways and some courts are ruling, that maybe these people did believe that Trump is issuing illegal orders?
Oh no, it's very possible. It's very possible they thought.
When you said
so, don't they have the freedom? Don't they have the freedom to say? Don't they have the freedom then to say?
No, because here's the question: they have to be acting under the default that it is constitutional, especially because so many of these orders that at the lower level are declared unconstitutional, and then as soon as you get to the circuit court, they say no, that's totally fine. So now, how is it that if judges who are proficient in the law and understand the law are sitting here arguing about what's constitutional and what's not, how can it possibly be healthy or natural or normal for any typical military member to sit there trying to figure out what the ultimate determination of law will be on this particular action that he has yet to take?
Well, they already have that. They already have that burden. Wait, you asked a question. Do you understand they already have that burden, right? They're already supposed to do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. To say there would be no America without Trump does sound kind of crazy. America is here. We damn near finna have a 250th year anniversary. Like we some months away from the 250th year anniversary. So like, what was going on that whole time?
That burden is something is so obviously egregiously beyond what the Constitution allows.
Yeah, like killing people in the middle of the ocean outside a country that we're not even declared war against.
You're coming to this case, which came up
With
after they made
examples?
the video, and I'll tell you right now, I haven't researched the law because I didn't think that when we're talking about whether or not shooting the National Guard is Trump's fault is going to somehow lead itself to a conversation about shooting down a boat in the Pacific. So I didn't look that up. And I'm not going to speak without knowing what the law is in that particular circumstance.
Okay, well, we can talk about something that Trump did that's relevant, like how the most recent case from Cobb says that what he did in deploying the National Guard was illegal. Do you think that they should ignore those orders because the person ruled
At which level? At which level of court is that?
I don't remember what.
Exactly. It wasn't the
Judge
Supreme
Cobb
Court. It wasn't the
not part
Supreme
of the Supreme
Court. And that's my point, is that these cases go back and forth. Now, you have to put this in a practical sense because.
Wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Just real quick. Well, because he just misquoted something. Because maybe he doesn't know the difference. I don't know if he knows what a preliminary injunction is or a TRO is. But you don't need the Supreme Court to rule on something to stay or to order a preliminary injunction or a TRO. So I don't know why you just said why you're pretending that something needs to go all the way up to the Supreme Court before a lawful order is issued. Okay, just to be clear. Go ahead.
I'll answer that question, which is a pretty simple question. Every time there's been a TRO that's been issued against him, Trump has fought against it all the way up to the Supreme Court. Every time.
It doesn't. Hold on. Excuse me. Are you implying? Let me just be clear. Are you implying that if a TRO is issued as approved against you at a district or a circuit court, that if you violate the lawful command of that TRO, of that preliminary injunction, that if it eventually gets overturned at the Supreme Court, you won't face some kind of contempt or criminal consequences?
Trump hasn't done that. He's actually bent over backwards. You want to know what Trump's
Wait, can you
biggest
answer that
problem
question real quick? Why can't you answer any question?
Let him respond if he doesn't.
He didn't answer the question. He just lied and said that Trump hasn't done it. Trump did do it, by the way. It was a huge issue with the immigration case where they ignored the order that was issued. You're lying, because I have to correct the record.
I'm not lying.
They told the planes to turn around and they didn't do it, and they're getting in trouble for the fact that they violated that TRO, even if it was eventually overturned at a higher court. You still have to listen to the orders of the court. You can't assume you'll win later on.
This is exactly the point. Judge Boasberg, when he's sitting there trying to say, I'm in D.C., and I'm going to start directing the President of the United States as to what he can do with his military planes that are flying out of Texas and going south of the border, and I'm going to start telling him what he can do with these military planes. The audacity of Judge Boasberg in that moment was unconscionable.
The audacity of a federal judge in the federal 100%. Jurisdiction to make orders related 100%. To the rights of American citizens? What the f*** are you talking about? I'm sorry, hold on. Do we need the Gulf of America judges to make the rulings on this? Who would be the one to make the ruling?
I understand you haven't spent 10 seconds in law school, so you don't understand what jurisdiction means.
Oh, but explain to me jurisdiction. You're right. Hold on, wait. He has no jurisdiction. Well, first of all, he's making jurisdiction in venue right now. No. Yeah, explain jurisdiction. Who would have jurisdiction over that?
Because of lack of venue, he doesn't have jurisdiction.
So then I was right. You need a courthouse that's floating in the Gulf of America that has proper venue and jurisdiction to hear the case? Is that what you need? No. Who has jurisdiction to hear that case? Tell me.
Because you're ignorant about the law.
See how he's doing the insults now? He has no argument. Who has the jurisdiction then? Which court hears that case? Which court hears that case?
One name after another.
Which court hears the case? Which court hears the case?
Ethne, please.
That would be. It would probably be a district court in Texas where it flies out of.
No, it doesn't have to be a district court in Texas. You don't know where they fly out of. You don't.
Counselor Destiny's coming here telling me it doesn't have to be there. Well, apparently the Supreme Court thought you're wrong. Maybe they should consult with you. You know the law far better than everyone else. You're sitting here mocking, saying everyone else is stupid or a liar, blah, 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 and over-talking them when you have no idea how the law actually functions. And you're
why did the court say that Texas? Why did the court say that they had to issue it out of Texas? A Texas court had to hear it instead of the DC one.
I'm sorry.
Why does the Texas court? Why is that the proper venue versus the DC one?
Because it's flying out of Texas.
Okay. What was the issue that the plaintiffs brought up in the DC case?
Which DC case?
The one that you're talking about,
That's
where they said that the Venezuelans that brought up the case. Eventually, it was in front of Boasberg in the D.C. Circuit, and eventually it was ruled against, so they had to bring it up in Texas instead, right? What was the issue?
And Boasberg got overruled.
Yeah, what were the plaintiffs' issues with that, though?
Because he didn't have jurisdiction.
What were the plaintiffs'
You're missing the
It
entire
wasn't.
point.
It was its venue.
You're
Okay.
sitting
No,
here-
I'm not
you're-
missing the
you're-
entire point. You're
lack of
misleading.
venue
You're
is why
misleading.
he
You're
didn't have
misleading. Yes,
jurisdiction.
but the issue was they couldn't choose a proper venue because the people had no notice about where they were being flown out to. That was the whole issue. Is that Trump issued this order on a Friday night. The plaintiffs brought it to a court with proper. They could hear it federally. It was a jurisdictional federal case, but they had to do it properly in a different venue because the government successfully argued in front of this joke Supreme Court that this was a habeas corpus claim and not an administrative procedures claim. Okay, but the issue is that but the issue the plaintiffs had was that they didn't even know. Well, I'm not even.
You gotta let him respond, please. He lost his teammate. His teammate decided that, whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so then the question: if it would have been a Texas, court, then would you have said a Texas court could have turned the planes around?
Good logic, please go ahead.
It's an interesting legal question as to whether or not they would.
Oh my God. Sorry.
You asked me a question. I'm giving you a fair answer. You asked me a question. I'm giving you an answer. What I'm saying is, you assume that courts are God. And
no, I assume the courts can tell you what the law is. I'm sorry. Trump is God to you.
The Constitution. No, I don't think Trump is God. I think Trump is very fallible. I think he made a lot of mistakes. Perhaps, arguably, that he's not fascistic enough. Because if he was more of a fascist, if he was the fascist that the left claims that he is, if in fact he was, in that case, you wouldn't have Sarah Beckstrom dead right now, right? The reason this guy's here, I'm going to try to bring this back to the actual conversation, to the premise that we have here. Why is this guy here in this country? Everyone loves to say that Trump's court in April actually approved and gave him asylum. But the reason they ended up giving him asylum is because the way the law was built and baked specifically by the Biden administration was that unless this guy had committed fraud or some crime after he got here that he was convicted in a court of law for, they had to grant him the asylum. So they basically they brought in all these millions of people, and in Operation and the OAW, where they basically say, hey, we're going to bring in all of these Afghanis. They basically, and then they assigned them temporary protected status. What they basically said is, we're going to fast track you to getting you legalized here without any vetting, and then we're just going to basically say, oh, okay, you now can apply, and it's going to be impossible for a court to remove you, because based on the way the law is written, and you have to follow what the law says, based on what the law is written, yeah, he does.
So Trump had no issue. So Trump had no issue flying these people to Venezuela, some of which have been brought back now. He had no issue doing any of that, but he was forced to grant asylum to this guy.
Well, first and foremost, like I said, Boasberg did not have jurisdiction. You see, you're trying to deflect over to that whole Boasberg situation.
No, you literally said Trump has to follow the law. When you were just talking about how Trump doesn't have to follow the law like 10 minutes ago.
No.
I said
the only reason that Sarah Beckstrom is dead is because he's not a fascist. Because if he was a fascist,
why was that guy even there?
Because Biden set up that it was impossible to legally remove him. He set up that it was impossible to legally remove him. That's my point. Let me just finish this point. That if Trump was the fascist he was, and he wants all these people gone, he would have ignored the law and say, I don't care what the law says, I'm deporting them. But he hasn't been doing that.
He literally did that when he invoked the Alien Enemies Act.
He did. Well, my point is, every single time, instead, what would a fascist do? A fascist would basically take his military and have them do what he wants. Instead, he tries to work within the confines of the law. Now, you don't like the way he tries to work within the confines of the law.
Trump using the military is...
You gotta let him finish. Please. Oh my God.
Off like 6 different points. They're all contradictory. Like, can we not jump in and tell him what he
Hold on.
I'll
give you uninterrupted time as soon as he's done. My God, you guys are making me...
Sorry.
Hey, that's me, bro. Shotty, that's me. I'm the host, man. This is my show. I was really just watching this debate. But look, man, nobody's gonna call in, so shit, we finna get up out of here, chat. I'll see y'all on the nighttime episode, man. I know I haven't been live at night all this week, but I've been working during the day, man. I've been working during the day. I am in the process of moving, actually, so I'll be back in the new studio next week, but I'm going to be back tonight, man. I'm going to come on live tonight. Next week, we'll be back in the new studio. Hopefully, we have it set up a little bit better, man. But I'm going to see y'all tonight, man. Double tap the screen, share the live out, man. Be sure to share this video out far and wide, man. I'll see y'all on